So if this is some legit
Like we're gonna
start
do.
time
Hey,
thing, you know what I'm saying?
all right, we're in.
Is it on?
Hey, is
Are
it
we
on?
good?
I think it's on.
Yeah. So we are 46 minutes behind.
Shut up, time counter. You.
We are a little behind. 47 now.
This is why we don't want him to have a phone.
Oh, it is 47 minutes. But I need to set the timer because that's how I like timestamp everything.
See, that was providential.
What was providential?
You saying that about the time? Because if you didn't do that, you
There you
would have
go.
been able to timestamp it that easily.
I told Brad I went to I had breakfast with a student at 7:45. No, at 7 o'clock at Chick-fil-A. It's Chick-fil-A and Starbucks in here. That is like
It's a day's work.
it's like a
Like you're better off walking.
bro. It's like the I don't I was gonna say the Bermuda Triangle, but it's not. But like it's
Lives
crazy,
have been lost
man.
there. Probably.
Probably
That's
so.
a whole day's
You would
work.
have not
And
returned.
that was chaos getting from Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
I was gonna get Starbucks to come
Yes,
here.
that's
That
crazy.
was
Trying to
chaos.
turn left on Indian Trail Fairview Road is like at that time of the morning.
Yeah.
It's
It was nuts. It was nuts.
Yeah.
So
you need to call ahead.
yeah. Hey, how y'all doing? Doing
You need,
good?
you need
to
valet. We
walk.
need valet entering into the intersection.
I
Just
love
get out
that.
your car and say, "Can you do this for me, please?"
And then I drop you off.
And then when they get in the intersection, they give you
No
your keys back.
tips.
And you just,
No tips.
dude, tipping. I'm with John Christ on this. Tipping culture is out of control.
it is because now it's not tipping. It's just they basically added into. They say, "Oh, we put a 15% tip."
They
I'm like,
do
"No,
do
you
that.
didn't. What are you doing?"
Yeah, I went to that. Where was I the other day? Where we went and they like spin the iPad towards you
They
for
do
tipping.
that.
And dude, like the suggested was like 25%.
It is wild.
And I'm like, bro, you came to my table like
But
three
the-
times.
Well,
Like I
let me-
appreciate
but
you.
what's weird is
wow.
what they turn it around and they're standing right there. So there's like a
Yep.
stress of, I'm going to hit no thanks.
Or when they actually ask you, do you want to leave a tip on the card? And I'm
No.
like, oh,
No.
maybe I should,
It's
but I
like,
don't know.
no thanks. Here's $1 in this jar.
Yeah. Shout out to John Reese. That man tips for everything.
Good.
I mean, like significantly tips.
God bless you.
And so I'm trying to find an instance where
Wow.
they want you to tip and you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? And so, but it's I don't know. It's
John.
crazy. It's crazy. Yeah.
It's like,
How y'all doing? You doing good?
yeah, I'm doing good, man. We
Sweet,
just got
man.
back from retreat, so I might.
How'd it go? Give us a
I might
30-second
Might be
recap.
coming in hot. It was really awesome. We talked about apologetics. Students loved it.
Wow.
And when you take a group of middle school students to a conference and it's about apologetics, and the guy asked for, I want some crowd questions, some questions from the crowd.
I heard about this. I
And
heard
they
about
put us right in the front center
Did
section.
you guys just
And I was
Were you holding
laughing.
your breath?
As soon as Eric said, I want to get some questions from the crowd. I was like, bro, you about to get? He had like 60
Did he get
hands go up
swarmed?
right in his face.
That's amazing.
And so he would ask, oh, great. And they did great questions. And then he realized, oh, they will keep asking questions as long as so he's like, okay,
I gotta
anybody
look
from the
around the
back
room.
of the
Yeah,
room,
yeah, yeah.
from the balcony. It's like, dude,
It's like,
no.
who's
And
this annoying
That's
church
right.
asking questions?
That's right. That's right. So they
That's
did
awesome, dude.
So good. It's
I'm
a
glad.
good week. Good week.
Oh God. So you had a good week, Brad? Good month. We haven't been on here in a month. You had a good month.
Yeah. It
That's all you got.
was a good month.
It's
Cool.
a good month.
I
good
hear you.
month, yeah.
Shout out to our new listeners.
Yeah.
Every
Hey.
week we have people come in and saying they listen to it,
I
which
know
is
it.
just amazing.
It is.
Hey, I did think this would be fun. We to start off, I did have this planned. We talked about naming the podcast.
Did.
You remember this?
Yep.
And
I
so
told
I'll-
Sam you didn't like mine.
I don't-
You didn't like my option. I told Sam you didn't.
What was
like
your
mine.
option?
what was your name again?
Pointless.
I remember you said
That's
that.
pretty good. That's pretty good. So
Pointless
I don't even know
podcast
if you knew
brought
we
to you
did
by the
this, but I put a box on Instagram.
Oh, I
to
didn't
just
know.
see some suggestions. So can I just read off
I
the
heard a few
suggestions?
of these.
I'm just gonna read them off. The point special.
Ooh.
That was one. The church office. I kind of like that one actually. Y'all need Jesus. Now I don't know if she meant
Yeah.
that's the name or do
Oh,
we
we
need
need
Jesus?
Was
I
she
don't
being
know.
evangelistic? I don't know.
The IT podcast or Live and Learn. That's too official, Logan.
Live and
Surratt. I love
Learn.
you. Sorry to out you, but that's too official. This is not that official business. Okay.
We don't wear collars.
TJ Luke. Wait,
Right.
TJ,
no,
I heard your name.
Where's he? Did
What'd he
it
say?
cut his off? I think TJ Luke said the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Well, see, I was gonna call us the other Trinity. Is what I was gonna do.
The other Trinity.
I feel uncomfortable
You
with
know,
that.
the other.
That's a
one.
little.
I feel
Yeah, I love you,
uncomfortable.
dude.
I feel
I love
uncomfortable
you,
with that.
That's really good.
Brittany said the Unpacked podcast.
Hey.
Youth pastors after hours. The
After
three
hours.
amigos.
Ah.
Eric put that.
Eric.
Why'd you have to say Eric?
I'm just saying.
Wow, dude.
The
So funny.
Stefan said, I hate this with every bone in me. The pew like The View, but churchy.
That's funny. And you can that could be the
There is not
the
enough
subtitle.
There's
or
no
not the subtitle, but whatever it is. I
don't know.
The View, like The
crazy.
View, but church.
Someone said sermon sessions. Someone said pointing you to Jesus. Brad said the great triumvirate.
Yeah, bro.
I like that.
You did that?
Yeah.
Someone.
Come on,
Were you
baby.
writing a paper at the time?
This one is the Biscuits Brothers. It's an acronym.
Oh, biscuits.
Brothers in sovereign Christ unite in togetherness.
Unite.
What's the S though? They said biscuits and there's no S.
B-I-S-C.
Seriously.
No, it's.
Someone said just two Christian guys. I'm not sure if they.
Oh,
There's
who's
three.
is that me? Who said that? Was that
a
Dunbar?
No, I don't know.
Two
Jeez.
Christians and a heathen. And
Someone
you never
said,
know.
uh,
Never know who's going to
That's
show up.
too good,
You never know
dude.
which one of us is going to be the heathen.
I love that.
Someone.
the
This is
truth.
better than I thought it was gonna be. Someone said believers banter, faithful conversations,
Ooh.
saved in speaking, virtuous voices.
Who are these Baptists?
I don't
Bunch
know.
of Baptists.
I'm telling you.
Someone said, "This is Sam, TPP, Triple Pastor Podcast."
Ooh.
Hey.
Tres Tipos Cristianos. Did I say that right? Did I say that?
Huh?
Yeah, Sam's here in the building, by the way. That's what he said.
So what?
But I wanted to live out
Quality control.
the last ones I'm going to read. This was shout out to Turner.
Yeah,
These are
I've
all
heard
Turner's
these.
suggestions.
I've
Okay,
heard these. I think they're all golf related.
faithful fairways,
Mhm.
spiritual strokes, miracle mulligans, holy handicaps, savior slices, gospel greens, divine drivers. I like that one. Evangelical eagles, spiritual strokes, blessed bunkers.
Two of those.
Let me guess.
Two of those
he's a big
sound
football
like.
fan? He's a big football fan.
Dude, two of those sound like
I
70s
love-
Christian rock bands.
That's
Like the Evangelical Eagles
It's
and the Spiritual Strokes.
like a spin
The
off.
Spiritual Strokes sounds like it's like the
Yeah.
Temptations.
I
You
love
know
it.
what I mean? It
Yeah.
sounds like it'd be like a soul
That's-
group.
Yeah.
And then yeah.
So all that to be said, we took
Yeah.
suggestions and we came up with the incredible creative name. It's the podcast with Justin,
Justin
Brad,
Brad
and
and
Steve.
If you don't know, now you know. That is the name of the podcast.
I feel like simplicity is what got people listening, and that's where we need to stay. We don't need to overthink this thing, man.
I'm agreeing.
It's not going to be good for us.
That's
Yeah,
true.
if we overthink it, it's
Yeah.
not going to be good.
Never is when we overthink it.
yeah,
seriously.
Okay,
Right.
so I will try to wrangle us in if that's possible. We have 24 questions.
So I hope you
Right.
packed a lunch.
Holy
Got a
cow!
lot of
So
questions today.
yeah, but shout out to Billy Curd. Shout out to him.
Hey.
He told me yesterday. He said, "Man, I never listened to podcast. I saw it on YouTube. He listened to it. He went back and listened to every episode. And I'm
Darn
like,
right he did.
dude, do you know how many hours of your life that is? Like,
That's exactly
goodness
It's a good investment on your
gracious,
time.
it is. All right, man, let's get it. Let's get
Let's
it
do
rolling. Let's
this.
get it rolling. If you were a contestant on the TV series Alone, stop. Do y'all know what that TV series is?
We're going to have to explain that.
I don't know, but the question makes sense after this. He says, which item would you take with you? 300 yards of fishing line or a recurve bow or long bow and 9 arrows? So I'm assuming it's like a survivor, but there's not other
Have
people.
you not
It's
seen
just you. Nope, I've not.
You would like it.
Never heard it until
Alone
right
is
now.
the most intense survival series on television. No camera crews, no gimmicks.
Which
It
is part
the
of-
ultimate test of human.
How is there no camera crews?
There's not. They have to do their own cameras. It's crazy to think. And
Oh,
the
wow.
crazy part is that when you start.
Steve is into it. I can
Well,
tell.
the thing
Well,
is-
you seem like you could be into
Well,
this.
yeah, because what happens is it's like, wait, they have to do a camera crew. But when you realize they are the only one there, and part of their survival is to keep the cameras going. So they literally
Oh,
have to,
that's terrifying.
so they have to charge them. They have to move. I mean, basically, the people come in when they check them.
Yeah.
That's wild.
They bring them, but they have to move them around and they have to record themselves.
So in light of
Think
that,
about that element. It's like I've got to live and
That's crazy. That's crazy.
keep the cameras going.
in light of your fandom of the show,
Yeah.
I wanted. What would you bring?
I would start fishing. Is always. I've not seen all of them, but I would figure out the fishing line would be.
Oh, there's actually options. Like,
Yes.
is that the way
I
the
think
show
you get
starts?
like 10.
Uh-huh.
You get 10 options, and I
300 yards of fishing line? Was that
What,
what
I
it was?
don't know how much they
It's a
get.
buttload of fishing
I don't know how
line.
much they get, but people always get like bows and arrows, and they were really good with them. But I wouldn't have done that.
Well, I feel like you could lose an arrow
Yeah,
quicker than you can lose.
So I
some
would.
fish.
I
gotta
originally
get fire.
I was
You
gonna
gotta get
say
fire.
bow. I was gonna say bow, but you can use line for so many.
So many
things.
Right,
things.
exactly.
they
So probably
usually
fishing
get like a something to chop wood with, and something to catch fish with. Because the crazy part with fishing line is sometimes they make a net with that line.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wow.
All right, I'll say fishing line.
Which is better because
Yeah, I'm gonna go fishing line.
Fishing line?
I'm fishing
No, what I was laughing at is there's that
12 gauge
episode.
shotgun.
There's that episode of The Office.
Yeah, it's not an option.
There's that episode of The Office where Michael goes out and
So
he's
funny.
living in the wilderness and he's videotaping himself. You know, so
I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
And
I
Dwight's
love it.
making sure he doesn't die.
It's like I will. What is it? He's like stalking him, and it cuts to Dwight. He's like, I will follow Michael. I will not intervene, even if he dies. I will let him, but I will not let him lose his honor. It's something
Everyone
like that.
needs that kind of friend.
I love it. Okay, yeah,
pretty
fishing line. That's a good question. I feel like that's a good self-revealing question. What would you take to survive? Here's a good one. Number 2. How do you know when to begin dating? It's kind of a two-parter. That's the question.
Where's the second part?
No, we got to ask this question. They're not kind of related.
I'm
They're both.
sorry.
Oh, they.
I'm sorry,
together?
but I think didn't we kiss dating goodbye? Just
the
kids.
middle school and high school don't know what that is, or
I
they
don't know.
probably.
That's
I don't know.
That's a different generation, ain't it?
How you know when to start dating, Brad? How you know?
How you know when to start dating? Dude, you don't want my advice on that question.
No.
no, we do.
I do. That's why they asked the question.
How do you know when you're ready to start dating? For me, it's when you're ready to get married.
Hmm.
How do you know when you're ready to get married? When you have a job and you love Jesus.
Okay.
I like it.
So yeah.
So are you saying like middle school and high schoolers shouldn't date?
I mean, you
Is that where you're
can.
at?
Sure, if you want to. I'm not a middle school or high school pastor, so that's not my concern. To be honest, I'm
Yeah.
thinking more on the lines of young adults, where you get somebody who's. I've talked about this before in the podcast. Somebody that's like 23
Mhm.
and they work like part time. I'm like, bro, you are not ready to date somebody
No.
because you're in a season of life where you should be looking for marriage,
Yeah.
and you're working part time. Like,
Yeah.
dude, how are you going to provide for her?
Yeah.
And things like that.
When
I'm
you say
just-
23 and working part time, you mean like that's all you really desire to do is work?
Yeah,
part-time?
or
Then
you're
not
yeah.
ready to get married.
If you're like,
Now, if you're
you
part time
have,
between
you're just-
jobs
you're
and you're
Exactly.
looking, that's totally different.
Exactly,
That's totally different.
exactly. And so, but there are some that they're just coasting,
Yeah,
and it's like,
yeah.
bro, that's not going to be okay.
Yeah.
Where you at for middle schools?
I believe we got to define what a date is.
Okay.
So for a middle school student, when they think date, they'll automatically, I think, I don't want to speak for all middle school students, they think about what they've seen as dating.
Mhm.
And for a middle schooler, and anybody from 11 to 13 or even 14, what you see, and most of them what they see, that's not what, if that's what dating is, they're not ready for that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. But if dating is, I'm starting to like the opposite sex in a relationship way other than, hey, you're my friend, to I really kind of like you and it's weird and all what happens, then what I would say is you're ready to date I wouldn't call it dating then, but when you start to feel that and start to wonder that and you're willing to start talking to some adults about what that is, then you might be a safe person to enter into maybe some kind of a serious while you're watching, but a date, I wouldn't call it dating.
Sure.
Because I'd say once you start to realize you want to be in that relationship, you should prepare. And middle school is a time to prepare to be that kind of a person that can be a good husband eventually.
Yeah.
And so is it a date, going out on dates, whatever? I would say I would never, as a Christian student, I would never say I'm dating a person, because it shows, I think it reveals that you're kind of swimming in the world more than anything else. And I'd also say if you're a middle school student and you're talking about wanting to go on a date, you should be more concerned and more reverent and more like, I want to be really cautious with this,
Right.
because so much of the world is not.
Right.
And so for a parent, if your middle school student is talking about wanting to have a date, I got to have a date or whatever, you probably need to start
Right.
looking into that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because I think it's as simple as, it's sweetened, but it can also be something that can be a distraction.
Yeah.
There's a lot to that question.
There's a lot, man. I
don't think dating's bad though. I think
no.
bad dating's bad. I think if you enter, because basically here's the thing: if you're being physically intimate with your date, stop, because that's for marriage.
Yeah.
To the point of, if we could lay out all of those things, like
Sure.
a hug, sure, a kiss, that's fine, but you got to realize your desires sexually will want to grow.
They're going to escalate. Yeah.
And so if you're starting that and entertaining that and making an exclusive relationship as a 12-year-old with that person, then you're really saying, where's that going to end up?
Yeah.
I mean, when are you realistically going to actually be able to be married? So for 8 years, you're going to grow in every area, and so it's like, why would I want to enter that?
Yeah, I don't. As speaking of like thinking about high school students, I've often told. I mean, and I feel like this is kind of a cop out answer, but it's where I'm going. Is like, I do think it matters on who the person is. Like, I think it's a case by case. Now, I will say this. I mean, I think by and large, I would just say don't date. I really like that. Just for me personally, I would say don't worry about dating in high school. Don't worry about doing it. I just for every good story.
I think you said one time, overall in your life, has dating been a good thing or a bad thing?
Yeah, like in high school, it's been like 99% bad thing. Yeah, I mean, it really has been, and it's like, man, for every good, oh man, they made it story, or even not a they made it story, but just a breakup that ended amicably where people are still friends. For every one of those stories I have 100 where it did not end that way. And the big thing for me is I often tell students, I'm like, man, like you're still learning like who you are. You know what I'm saying? You're still learning who you are in Christ. You're still growing in your own individual walk with the Lord. Not that I'm not, and not that you're not,
right?
And whatever.
Always.
But man, that's such a formative time. It is, and then to bring someone else in on that with you is just, I don't know, man. I think it just brings. I will say this: where how do you know if you're in high school and you have to force it to have a girlfriend?
Yes.
Then I would say like absolutely not. Now I think we've had a couple come through. Like I think we had breakfast with them the other day. So I'll give them a shout out on mine. Jed and Susie Wooten, right?
Yeah.
Who dated through high school. Just coming, and I would say that was one of those where I looked at it, I'm like, yo, it did not seem forced at all.
Right.
It was just like that genuine attraction,
right.
genuine barriers and all these things. Right. And I'm not saying they're perfect and they know they're perfect. But man, like just it was one of those where like this was not something that's forced. And what I see so many times happening is like, okay, we break up with someone and like we're on the prowl for a new girlfriend or new boyfriend. And that's when I'm like, yeah, you're not ready to date then. If that's the point.
Because what you just said is true. It's like if you're a student and you're wondering, that's good. If you're wondering, should I date?
Yeah,
it's actually really good.
Yeah. That's a normal thing to ask.
You're not like, oh, of course I have to date or I'm a weirdo. Those people don't ask the question of when is too early to date.
Yeah.
If you're a student asking that question, if you're a student asking that question, good job, man.
Yeah, dude.
Seriously, because
good word.
I want to say this. We should do something where like people can hang out with the opposite sex, because if they don't like at all, the level of awkward
for sure.
Yeah, that's right.
And it does make it to where you have the Christian guys in college. God told me that we were supposed to get married.
Yeah, ladies don't do that.
And it's like, because
I hit that so hard a couple
the dude's never had an interaction with a woman before.
Like, this is amazing.
And so like,
she's incredible.
And so like maybe, not like date, but like, I don't know, go out with like friends that are girls and do it as a group with guys.
That's,
like,
I was about to say, this
you
sounds
do need to do stuff like that.
This sounds so corny, and I think it sounds so like, in my mind, if I heard this in high school,
some
that
people
sounds
desperately
so, I'm like, that sounds so old school, but I'm like, dude, like, I wish, I don't know about if y'all can say the same thing. I'll say this for myself, I think. And again, this is off the cuff. We haven't really thought about these. I look back and I wish, yes, there were certain girls that I liked in high school. Like I dated one girl a lot, two girls a lot. I look back, I wish that we'd have like primarily hung out in groups.
Yeah.
Right? Primarily in groups. And if wherever was a date where we were going to be alone, like at dinner or something like that, like, just go to a public place and be alone.
Yes.
That makes sense?
Yes.
Be in a public place and be alone. Exactly.
Which you can do, by the way.
Which you can do. Yeah. So when do you start? I don't know. Get your parents involved in on it for sure. Get spiritual leaders around you that can really speak into you on that. I flat out told a kid the other night, I love him. And I was like, man, like he was talking about a girlfriend. And I was like, dude, I don't think you're ready for this. Like I don't think you are. And I would say like if a student is struggling with like pornography or something like that, it's like, dude, you're not ready to date a girl. You're not ready. You're not ready. Like I think that's a pretty clear, definable no. You're not ready.
Right. And here's the thing: you're not telling that person who is in a struggle season, that you won't ever be. It's like, no. It's just this is how even
Hey,
as
but if you keep this up, you won't ever.
you won't ever be.
Okay.
But the thing is, if you're really concerned about that, but obviously you're in this situation, it's like, bro, this is a good thing because you're gonna have to put to death stuff your whole life.
Yeah,
so.
No doubt. So kind of long on to that. That's why I said the kind of
two part,
but it goes together in that. And then we'll do a fun one after that.
Oh yeah.
In a relationship, at what point is it okay to live in the same house as your girl or boyfriend? I've heard many different views from Christians and wanted to know your guys' opinions.
Use guys. What was it? Say that one more time, because I'm going to give a definitive.
In a relationship, at what point is it okay to live in the same house as your girl/boyfriend? I've heard many different views from Christians and wanted to know your guys' opinions.
Okay, after your girl/boyfriend becomes your wife/husband. It's the only time.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, you're going to tell me that you can live together and not do things that people do?
Some people will. We'll do that.
Yeah, we're gonna sleep in separate rooms. He'll sleep on the couch, or we'll just cuddle with our clothes on. Okay. Bet. Try it.
No, please don't try it.
Yeah. No. Right. Yeah, don't try it.
Don't try it. There's some stuff you shouldn't try.
You're not
arsenic, licking your lawnmower when it's running,
and cuddling with your
girlfriend in a room.
In a house where it's just you two living, and
you're not going to be successcal. Yeah, you're not going to be successful.
So we can definitively say
100%.
Do not move in together
100%.
until.
Why would you do that?
Yes. Why would?
Because the question
that is like the definition of playing with fire.
Why do you? Because deep. Sorry,
I know the thought process.
I'm not having a stroke here, but if a person's really asking that question, thanks for asking that question.
Yeah.
But what do you want? Do you want an answer that gives you permission to do that?
Right.
Why do you need that situation? What's different about where you are now?
So
and we'll say it's a high score, so I don't think they're.
Well, the thought process behind it, because I actually just looked into it heavily. Like the thought process behind it is essentially, let's just see if we're compatible. Let's see if we can make this work. But the problem is there's no covenant bond that makes it work. So the covenant bond isn't just something that is a symbol. It's something that actually seals it to where now this is what makes us work for it.
Because what you just said is huge, because I've been thinking about this a lot. The covenant bond is a thing. It's not just a symbol of a thing.
Exactly. It's a real thing. And it keeps you, so like I would say like to people, we said it just yesterday to like a couple, you like this person enough to cross this line. Do you like them enough to tie this knot? And if you like them to cross this line but not to tie this knot, you don't like them.
That's right.
You don't.
Not in that way.
And you don't need to. You need to just be man enough or woman enough to say, look, we need to stop.
That's good.
Seeing each other, right?
And I would say this, men.
Yeah.
You're the one that needs to do that.
Right. Well, and then when you live when you live together, there's no incentive to stay together.
Yeah.
You get into a big fight, I'm moving out.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
So think of the heartbreak that you're going to live through. This is put Christianity aside. Just think of the heartbreak you're going to live through.
Yeah.
If you're a young lady and you decide to move in with your boyfriend, and then things go south and he kicks you out. Think of the devastation that's going to wreck in your life and that you have to live with, right? And so that like obviously you're going to get into sin, like you are going to. But you can put even that aside and just think of like the practical like implications of some of these things. Like, dude, it's gonna leave you scarred if it goes south, worse than it would if you were just dating and y'all broke up.
Right.
Yeah, you could do a deep dive here, I think, which I don't think we have to, because I think the answer is that black and white of just don't do it. But I think it is like to me that's symptomatic of like our culture that seems like everybody wants to defer responsibility, right? And we don't want to take responsibility until the last possible moment and defer it. And that's really what moving in together is. It's like you don't want to take the responsibility of being in that covenant, being in that commitment. So, well, let's just be as close as we can to it. And it's like, don't play with that, man. Definitive no. I like it. What's your favorite? I appreciate the question. Yeah, Sam's down here. Shout out to Sam. Sam, throw your deuces up in the camera.
Let people see you.
Yeah, I love it. What a guy. Favorite worship song?
Favorite?
I love that they didn't ask that, like, least favorite and put us in a bad spot.
I like,
Thank you so much for
Someone's
your
gonna
time.
ask the next time least favorite.
Least-
Someone's gonna ask least favorite worship song, least favorite preacher, least favorite church. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, don't do that.
It's gonna
It's-
escalate.
I'm
You
giving
guys are gonna
ideas.
get us in trouble.
What's your favorite worship song?
I like He Will Hold Me Fast.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
It's probably my favorite.
What's your favorite worship song? Is that like a right now it's your favorite or
That's
like
so-
all time?
That's like all time, dude.
I'm going to let you know. I have a struggle with a direct question. My brain goes. Whoop.
Yeah.
So keep talking. I'll think of something.
I feel like for me in worship music, I have songs that are my favorite during like a specific season, but then I have songs that are like that's my
Staple.
that's my favorite. You know what I'm saying? Or like one of my favorites. So I would say if I had to pick a song like all time, I love In Christ Alone, man.
Yeah, you
I
do.
love In Christ
Really
Alone
good.
so much.
Yeah, you do.
I love it. Right now, in this season, I love. Have you heard Shane and Shane? Already Won.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sick, dude.
Yeah.
It's
That's a
sick.
good song.
Yeah, that's probably my one. Like as of like the last week,
Look at
that's
you.
like
That's
my
it.
that's
I
my
like it.
jam right now.
Was
I like
that,
them. I know both of those.
And anything
I'm
Kings,
interested to see
anything
if I'm
Kings
gonna
Kaleidoscope,
know
anything Kings
these
Kaleidoscope.
coming our way.
I got it. I just don't know the title. See, that's the thing. I just.
Well, sing it
Well,
for
start
us.
singing
I
it, bud.
don't know
You,
that
you sing
either.
in front of
But you
2,000
sing great.
people every
Sing on.
Sunday.
Yeah, you
talking.
do.
Keep talking.
Yeah, or yeah, anything. Oh, what an awesome. Someone just texted me. Wow, that's so.
I thought someone just submitted a question.
No, someone just texted me a very encouraging message, and that's just. I didn't read it all, but I read it. Can I just say, let's take a parenthetical and just say, bro, if you feel the need to text someone
Yes.
and encourage, just do it.
Come
Just
on.
do it. You never
Come
know,
on.
bro. You
Put
never
yourself
know
out there.
why they might need some
Isn't that
encouragement.
right?
You never know why they might need some
You know what I
encouragement.
mean?
Yeah, so that already one is my jam right now. I really like that. Have you found it yet?
What he's done. What he's done.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I like that one.
It's just a simple
I
song.
don't know it.
It's a verse, chorus, verse, chorus,
By the
verse, chorus.
glory and the honor. Something.
And it literally lays out
My
the gospel.
sins are forgiven.
Yes, they
Yes.
My
are.
future is
Yeah.
heaven.
Come on.
I
Praise
thank God.
God.
Yes.
For what he's done.
Come
I love
on.
it.
That's it.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. That's a simple one. Okay, next one. Is the gap theory legit?
Is the gap theory legit?
Why did you say it like that?
It was so
Because I knew the question. The
You know what
question was
store
submitted.
is legit? Gap is legit.
Gap's a good store, bro.
It's a good
It is.
store.
Like it's like this. I'm a big Gap
I just
guy.
wish somebody had the courage to make adult clothes as cool as the kid clothes. That was all.
That's true. They have these like
Bro,
shorts.
Walmart has some great kids' clothes,
Walmart's. I will say this. if
and
you
like I
notice-
wish that they would make like the father rendition. There's like there's two sweaters
Yes.
that the boys have that I'm
That's
like,
what
bro,
I'm like-
I want that
that sweater
for that price,
I'm right.
and you can't
For
find
that-
it.
for
Yeah,
that
yeah,
price.
you're not
For
gonna
that
find it
price.
for that price,
That's right.
and you're not going to find the.
And
item.
by the way, I was a little skeptic. I was a skeptic of the new style of Walmart.
dude,
They're
it's
doing.
classy.
I kind of like it now. It was kind
The
of
one-
sketchy.
the
and
one right here?
Yeah, the transition was a little weird.
Yeah,
I was like,
I'm
well,
a big
y'all do
food line guy.
it.
I just run a food line.
I would big Lidl people.
Lidl.
If we're gonna
We
go
actually are
groceries, we're
Costco.
big Lidl.
Shameless plug for the Costco. We're,
Yeah,
we're
dude,
a
did you
Costco
see,
people.
your wife's taking my wife tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh, they're going on a Costco date.
They're about to spend money at Costco, bro.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
fun.
Costco.
Yeah,
Okay,
way to
Gap-
get it like
Gap
that.
theory
Gap
is
theory.
legit.
What is the Gap
Brad,
theory?
what is the Gap
Now I feel
theory?
the need to text my wife and tell her not to spend too much.
Is the Gap theory that Gap is like some?
There's
I
a
don't know.
gap. There was
The-
a gap in creation.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So, I mean, just to read specifically off of my.
Is this Wikipedia? Please tell me it's Wikipedia.
This one's not Wikipedia. Would you like Wikipedia?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
I
kidding.
pulled. Yeah, the
Go
first
ahead,
thing I
somebody
pulled.
keep-
the
keep
gap
talking.
theory.
Let's
This
see,
is what I pulled up. This
well,
came
it's-
up when I typed it. It said the gap theory is an interpretation of Genesis 1,
Yep.
which puts a time lapse between the empty, dark, watery
Genesis
earth
1
in
and 1.
Genesis 1 and 2,
Yep.
and the first divine flat fiat. I guess I don't have my glasses on. Let there be light. So basically, there was a gap between
Yes.
Verse
There
1 and
was-
verse 2.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it was. There was like because it says in the beginning of verse 2, and the earth was without form and void, and so the idea is that God created this, and there was a period of time, a gap, where the earth was without form and void,
Right.
and then God brought
Yes, but the gap-
order
right.
into
But
the
the gap-
chaos that was.
Okay.
But then an extension of the gap theory, because I was reading this, is true. It said there would also be a gap between the days.
Which and
That's
you
an
know,
extension of, or is that in the purest form of the Gap
It's
theory?
probably I don't know. I was just reading.
Yeah.
It was like another part of it.
so
There's-
is the question, and this
there's
is
a bunch
what
of
I,
gaps in that whole beginning part.
so I feel like that's a good enough. I think it's sufficient explanation for
So
people.
is
it legit?
it legit?
Is it an option? Yeah, I think so. Why not?
Yeah, I think Christians believe it,
Yeah, absolutely.
I use the word Christian intentionally. I
Yeah,
believe there's some Christians who
Yeah.
love Jesus, love the Word of God,
yeah, dude.
hold to the Word of God, that hold to that, but they would also say, "But we understand it's a theory."
Right.
They would not say
That's
they
the
would not
key-
say you're not a Christian if you don't believe this theory.
Key word is
So,
theory.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what, because sometimes people will insist the other where it's like, if you don't believe in a 6-day literal creation, then
you're not a Christian.
you're not a Christian.
And I wish they'd stop.
And
I wish they would stop doing
that's a tertiary issue, right?
Yes.
Like that's far on the peripherals of
Yes.
things that are of the utmost importance to the Christian
And
faith.
I'll be full disclosure. I'm in that family of people. I love that.
Absolutely.
But I wish those people that do that would stop because I don't think you help out at
It's just
all.
not fair. It's not fair to other people because other people they've thought like it's not like they didn't think about this.
Yeah.
It's not like you're just trying to appease the scientists.
What?
And it's like, nah, bro, that's not what this is.
No.
This is trying to interpret things, poetically in nature. We've talked about before on the podcast where Genesis, the Hebrew, the way it's written out. And so it's people trying
because if y'all aren't, it's because you're smarter than I am. When people say, I take the Bible,
It's a big weight.
So I take the Bible literally. See, I'm about to say something you guys will not be surprised by.
probably not.
I'm just going to be full disclosure. I was like, dude, literally. I had to interpret. And somebody says, you know what that word actually means?
Mm-hmm.
You interpret it according to its literary genre.
Right.
That's, I take the Bible literally, which
Yeah.
means if it's apocalyptic, you take it apocalyptically.
Yes.
If it's historical,
Steve.
if it's a narrative, that's what literal means. It doesn't mean I can poke my eye out because no, it's literal.
If ever someone says
good.
that, I just take all the Bible literally. I'm like, okay, then why do you have eyes? Because Jesus said if
Exactly.
they cause you to sin, gouge them
Yeah,
out.
Or here's
And-
the thing.
Cut your hand off.
I take the Bible literally. Okay, which book are we talking about?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Well, there's a literary genre behind that book that God is using to speak through.
For sure.
It's really good.
I can honestly say I've thought more about the gap theory in the last 2 minutes than I have maybe my entire life.
So there wasn't much of a gap.
I don't think it. Yeah, I don't.
So fun.
Well, the thing that's interesting is I'm like, there's certain like to me the creation that like, since you went there, if someone believes in 6 literal day creation, which I do, hand up, versus someone who doesn't. To me, there actually is some like really important like hermeneutical questions about that. You know what I'm saying? Like impacts how you read the Bible.
Yes.
The gap theory, I'm like, is there even any like theological ramifications to believe in that? Does that make sense? Like, is there any dangers or pitfalls to believe? I don't think there was.
I think you can find dangers and pitfalls if you want there to be dangers
Probably
and
so.
pitfalls.
Yeah. I don't.
What was it? I tried to explain.
like, what does it
I tried to
matter?
explain to one person, and I'm just. This is just my theories here. It's like probably everything. I think there's something to the fact that God created it mature when there was a creation, and so what we're doing is God has done this. He has created this world.
Yeah, dude.
And so when we do the math on how old this world is, we got to realize God doesn't have to operate in the process of something.
Yeah.
He created, boom. And so, but when we go back and look at it, I want to measure it. How old is it? Guys, our math is going to be different.
Sure.
I just think that's one of those things.
Yeah. No,
So-
I'm with you on that. No.
Yeah.
So it's legit. I mean, yeah, it's a theory. It's legit. The theory is legit. Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
I don't think I hold to the gap theory.
Yeah.
But I don't care if
Right.
someone does. I don't.
Right.
But I would say
Amen.
if you want to hold to the gap theory
Amen.
because 6 days is weird.
That's-
I'm like, guys,
that's a good-
we have
that's
to
a good
embrace
word.
the fact that we believe and know that true things are going to look weird to everybody else.
Right. That's a
If
good
you
word.
if you
That's a
feel like
good
you
word.
would be embarrassed because it was 6 literal, man, if that's the reason you're going for the gap theory,
Yeah.
you probably need to do a little bit more.
I'll go back up and I'll say that if someone takes the gap theory to the point where they're like there was a lot of gaps in between each days, I think I would have a problem with that.
Right.
But if there was a gap between Genesis 1 and 2 and verse 3,
Yeah.
I'm like I don't see how textually you can make
Yeah.
that argument
But no,
one way or the other.
no.
You know
But what I'm saying is, that if the reason you're hoping that the gap theory is a Christian doctrine, and I can believe it,
Yeah.
so that you won't be embarrassed by people that have.
Yeah. That's what you're saying.
Then
Yeah.
stop.
It's
Yeah.
I
No,
see
stop,
what
man.
you're saying.
because that's a slippery
yeah.
slope. Because
That's a
then it's
slippery
like, dude, we believe Jesus rose from the dead.
That's
And
right.
So
And
that's a crazy thing to believe.
That's
I mean,
a crazy thing to believe.
It's a big thing to believe. Yeah, I'm with you.
Right.
Okay, a really important question. How does Brad have such an awesome mustache?
It really does.
Oh man, just the careful grooming and tending to this bad boy. You know what I mean?
Do you have a special comb?
This fuzzy little caterpillar up here. You know what I mean?
It really is legit.
No, I don't do anything.
Do you shave a lot?
I shave once a week. I'll cut everything but the. Well, that's not entirely true. Once when I want to. I'll shave everything but
That's
the
so funny.
mustache.
Is it like shaving cream?
No,
Just
dude. I used to
like a
go.
razor?
I used to go straight baby face, and this was because of Arnold Palmer, that I used to shave like every other day.
Okay.
Because it's just classy. Like
Okay,
you
it's
just shave your face. My grandfather told my brother. In not such a nice way to shave that poop off his face. And
Yes,
so
poop was
you
not
fill
the
it-
word.
You fill in the blanks, people. And so
Shout
to
out
me,
to Mr. Cowlick.
to me there is there's something classy about not having. You seen the Alistair Begg thing about the chin whiskers? You seen this thing?
No.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's funny. I'm
No,
not going to tell you, but if you guys are interested, then check it out.
Alistair Begg, he's awesome.
But no, you just I don't know. You could do it too. That's what I would say to the people.
I was
You can do it too.
this close.
You can do it too.
I was this close to leaning into the facial hair. Did you see me on Wednesday, Sam?
You
I
had,
was this close.
yesterday, Saturday.
I know.
You had
well,
facial hair.
I was before
Right or wrong?
before Saturday because his lovely wife took pictures of me and my family, and I didn't know that until like Friday
Saturday
afternoon.
morning, you look like you had it.
Well, I was ready to lean into it, man. I was ready. I was like, I'm gonna go for the beard. I'm gonna do it. Like we're gonna make it.
Man.
And Courtney said we're taking family pictures, and I was like, crap. So I shaved. So I don't know. Well, what might
Have you ever grown a beard before?
no. Well, see, that's why I thought because for the longest time it was like the awkward
Make a man out of
it.
you.
was the awkward patchiness.
Oh, I hate it.
But for the first time ever, it kind of was coming in. I'm like, I think I can embrace this, and so
Man.
I don't know. All right, y'all ready for a good one? This is probably again.
Wow.
Again, this
We haven't had good ones
What was I
yet.
about to say?
no, we have.
Jeez.
We have.
Might have to
This
go to the bathroom before this.
this is one of those. Don't go to the bathroom for this one. This is this is one of those. We always say, and we really do mean it. Like we don't read the questions
We
before.
really don't.
But this is one when it came through. I was like, oh, that's gonna be fun to talk about. This is definitely a two-parter.
Oh,
So
I know this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
don't
What
know this.
is a deconstructed Christian?
Okay, never mind. I don't know
Sorry,
this.
I'm listening. What is it? What is a deconstructed Christian?
Or that's what they said. Or
Okay.
I guess we
What
honestly
is
probably
a
could start
deconstructed
as
Christian?
we honestly probably could start at like what is. I know we know that word and we think about it, but maybe I'm sure people know that word. They just might not know that's the definition that goes with what they've experienced. What is deconstruction?
Okay. Because let me do this.
Yeah,
Because the
what
question
This
said
could
de-
get it. This could get
Because
fun.
let me do this. Because you said deconstructed Christian.
doing? Are you really leaving on this one?
No, I'll be right back.
He'll be back.
No, it'd be like a minute and a half.
Smalls? We might say
So
something really important.
deconstruction.
You might say something important to the conversation.
He is
Unbelievable.
leaving.
Let's talk bad about Brad.
Let's talk about that. So let's
Sam, jump on. I'm just
let's
kidding.
put this is the segment. This is the commercial segment where we're waiting to get back for Brad to get back.
I'm like, that's such an important question.
It is
Like,
an
don't
important
leave
question.
us. I'm good with waiting like a minute and a half for you going. Don't pause it, Sam. We're just gonna keep rolling.
We're just gonna keep rolling.
Sam, what question off the cuff do you have for me? And
Yeah,
Steve?
off the cuff. Come on, Sam. Sam, you come.
Do you want
take
to
a
pop in
seat.
the mic? You want
Come
to
jump in the seat.
let the people hear your voice.
I'm good.
All right.
No?
Favorite style of hat to wear?
Oh, what's your favorite
style of hat?
Richardson. Richardson for me.
What is a Richardson?
It's the hat I'm wearing right now.
I like that.
It's that right there. It sits good on my
So
noggin.
this is a St. Louis Cardinal hats are obviously my favorite.
You like the new eras?
These are new airs. So for anyone listening, I wear a 7.3/8. I'm just kidding.
I think I do too.
Do we really?
I think I do too.
I'll go. So it's a new era. It's a baseball hat. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the only thing about baseball hats.
You wear
is
them good too, man.
it kind of gives it away. They're like, oh, that dude's a baseball player, which sometimes is a good thing. Sometimes it's a bad thing.
Sometimes not such a good thing.
Sometimes it's a bad thing. Yeah,
I got a
like-
question. What do you think of the World Series? Did you even watch any of it?
I did not.
You were disappointed, weren't you? Were you sad?
No, I mean I wasn't.
Did you
sad.
boycott or you just said?
No. I watched.
I was sad that the Diamondbacks didn't win.
Yeah,
I
I
wanted
just
them to
didn't
win so
care.
bad.
I mean, I watched a little bit. Like it was on in the background for
I
me.
got you.
Like I watched
Yeah.
a little bit of it. If the Phillies would have been in, I would have been much more intrigued. Like, is
Yeah.
Bryce Harper going to get it done?
Yeah.
Is- I like the Phillies in that way.
Team that send the Braves home.
Yeah, just like- Yeah, I don't know. We haven't started asking the question at all, Brad, because we wanted you to be here.
because I'm just
um,
like seriously, man. I'm just.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wanted the
didn't-
DB. I wanted the
Did you pause
Diamondbacks
it?
to win because they were small ball.
No, we didn't pause it. The thing that I hate though is everyone. So baseball this year was wildly successful.
You like small ball?
I love small
I
ball.
love
Me
I
too.
think
more entertaining.
I think the true definition of baseball is small ball.
I agree.
Baseball though was wildly successful this year.
Yeah.
Attendance was up, viewership was up, all
That's
that stuff.
good.
And because of those rule changes, I really believe that helped.
I agree.
I
agree.
everyone, it got painted in a negative light because it was the lowest watched World Series forever. But I was
Yeah.
like, and like literally ever, it's the lowest watched World Series. But I was like, man, it was still a win for baseball this year. Like
Yeah,
this,
big time.
it just kind of stunk for it was the Ranger down two minor fan bases, you know. But anyway, okay, what is deconstruction? Oh, I'm excited to talk about this. This is fun. I'm excited.
Well, I go back to this.
This might be my favorite question.
I go back to the question that said, "What's a deconstructed Christian?" I think if the basis is there is a Christ follower, Jesus redeemed, born again person who's deconstruction, that's a different definition, because I think that's where you strip everything away that's peripheral in your walk with Jesus that many Christians believe, but we've made it to be primary. So you deconstruct down to what is walking with Jesus instead of all of the stuff that the world and maybe teachers say, you have to do this to be a Christian. You have to do this to be a Christian. You have to be this to be a Christian. You have to think this way to be a Christian. And I think that's all good. But I think we all need to go through it, deconstruct down and say, is all that best? Is all that really being a Christian? That's a Christian who constantly in discipleship can say, okay, I want to evaluate this thing that I think is primary. Is it as primary as the Bible? Does God tell me it's primary?
Yeah.
Or did so-and-so tell me and I really want to impress them? And so I'm actually doing this, but now I'm kind of tired. I feel tired of always, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think there's a legitimate deconstruction that every Christian should go to say, okay, Jesus, is this something I need to keep doing?
So it's so to be super practical.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm trying to put. I think this is a really important question, so I'm trying to think through. But like,
Come on, brother.
like someone grows up in the faith, in a certain cultural context with all this stuff, and maybe can we pick a corny example?
Do
Maybe.
it.
Yeah, dude.
Pick an obvious one. Everybody feels
Yes.
Like okay, obvious example. Like bro, like let's just do like worship styles or
Come on.
whatever. Like, they
Yes.
grew up in a church
Yes.
like ours,
Yes.
massive
Yes.
church, whatever.
Yes.
They might reach a point where it's like, okay, I thought to have church it had to be
Exactly.
choir. I thought it had to
Yes.
be production, suit and tie,
Yes.
all this stuff. And it's like maybe you need to deconstruct to a point and get back to the foundation and the cornerstone, which is Christ,
Yes.
and say it's like, no, man, church is the body of believers
Yeah.
gathered
Yeah.
together, and that looks very different
very
in
different.
very
And here's
different
what's cool.
cultures.
When you do that, then you can appreciate that thing,
yeah,
but
yeah,
you don't feel a slave to that thing. Does that make sense?
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. So now
Right.
so at some sense,
So that's different. That's probably not what he's asking about.
that's not. And so because part two just to let, so they have a friend who's deconstructed and a brother,
Okay.
and so that's kind of where they're coming from. So this is not a person considering it. So there is a healthy way to deconstruct. That's like we're getting back to the foundation. This Jesus.
That's constant discipleship.
That's exactly.
That's
I'm
just
with you.
what
What when we think of, and it's kind of the Christian, I don't know, it's kind of chilled out a little bit maybe, but this buzzword of deconstruction in a non-healthy, non-Christian way, how would we define that?
Non-healthy, non-Christian way.
Maybe I shouldn't say non-Christian. I think
What is
I don't know. I guess the best way to give the definition for me is to give an example. So you have typically it goes something like this, and y'all feel free to chime in or disagree. But someone grows up in the faith, right? They're a Christ follower. They love Jesus, love his church, all that stuff. And then typically something happens.
Okay.
Whether that's a pastor abuses authority, whether that's a church it gets involved in illegal activity, scandal, something like
sexual
that.
abuse.
And so any of those things, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
And so this person has to deconstruct their faith. They
Yes.
feel they have to deconstruct their faith because, man, my faith has been built up on all these things, and how they perceive it is so much of this was a lie, right? So much of this was a lie.
They feel they were
So
tricked or manipulated.
Yeah, so they detach from church. They might not say it. I would say they detach
That's where
from
it
Christ. Usually starts there, right? And they deconstruct in that way, and they tear down the foundation of which their life was built because someone or something along the way messed up their perception of who Jesus was. Is that a fair?
I'd say that's probably
That's pretty fair.
it's in there.
Is that fair?
I think you can't act like that's not one of the reasons. Some people, I think people who would deconstruct would say, "No, I just did it thinking." But some people were hurt, and out of a response of something emotional,
Right.
they just said, "I just want to pitch this whole thing. I'll just get rid of the whole thing."
Throw it, the old throwing the baby out with the
Yeah,
bathwater.
that's right.
yeah.
Because here's the thing: you want to have control over the thing
Yeah,
you feel
so-
you don't have control over. So, you just do it.
And because to be honest, I haven't looked much into this
Mhm.
to be completely honest. And depending on where it goes, I'm not going to have much sympathy for people who are deconstructing, because if it's like that, like something happened, it's like, dude, I understand, but like, come on, bro. Like, if your faith was in Jesus, why do you need to deconstruct all these things that what you're saying, like the stripping away of all of the other things? I'm for that 100%. But if we're just trying to like, there's an old, I can't remember the old philosopher, but the idea was that you had to come to your own conclusions about everything. Everything. And the end of that philosophy of life is that you'll never really come to any conclusions about anything, because that is absolutely impossible. You have to come to your conclusions. Is this shirt blue? Well, you got to deconstruct, because blue is just made up by man. And then you have to like continue to deconstruct and deconstruct and deconstruct to where there is nothing left. And that is a foolish philosophy. And so I get it, because it's a sensitive thing. I think some people, let's just be real, some people deconstruct because they want attention.
Yeah.
I think there are people who do that, which to me, dude, whatever. Get your money, get your fame, get your notoriety, do what you got to do. But that's pretty lame as a man. And also, like, I think because there have been popular Christian artists who have done this, who don't realize the effect that this has on people who look up to them.
Yeah. Who was the biggest one? I know Joshua Harris is a big one.
Yeah.
Who was the what's
Rhett
the
and Link,
singer?
Rhett and Link.
Rhett and Link. No, there was a singer.
Guy from. There's been a couple. There's a guy at Hillsong who did it.
I don't know.
What's the band? There was one guy in the band.
Hawk Nelson, the guy from.
That
Nelson,
maybe that was it.
yeah.
Guy from Hawk Nelson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say this. I mean,
let me tell you something sad. I was going back because there used to be something in youth ministry called a box. They'd send you DVDs and music videos to play. And you used to play them all the time. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
I was going back last week and just pulling from the old ones because I have them filed. I have them just in the file. And I pulled up a list of the videos, and I'm looking through the list of all the Christian bands. And dude, I was like, holy moly. A lot of these folks don't even claim Christ anymore.
Yeah, dude.
Like, think about that.
Yeah.
So in the Christian artist music industry,
Yeah.
you can go back to the 10, 15 years and what bands we used to listen to.
Yeah.
You're now looking at people who now say, I don't believe in Jesus anymore.
Yeah.
And I mean,
It's crazy,
I think
isn't
going
it?
back to like the source of a lot of. I mean, this is obviously I've never had that experience, but they get in the let's just say the secular side of the church world of like they're making money, they're making records, they're getting into the business,
Right.
And there's some money to be made in Christian music.
Oh, it's some big money.
Some big money.
Big money.
I will say this: I have grown.
Let's do it. Let's start a band.
Well,
I
they gave us a lot of names. They gave us a lot of names,
but
you know?
we could start a band.
I will say this: I think I have grown to be more sympathetic to people who are doing it.
Yeah. Because there's something
not to
going
disagree
on.
with what you just said, but like I know, and no one's ever asked about this question, but I mean, we could talk for a while on it. Not that we're going to, because we have questions to get to. But like when we listen to Rise and Fall Mars Hill, right? Which I know we have mixed opinions on that.
Right.
But I mean, there's people's.
That's going to be the next question.
It might be.
What's your mixed opinions on Rise and Fall?
But I mean, there are tons of accounts of just church members in that telling their story, and so one thing has to be either one thing is true is either some of them are bold-faced lying, and they might be some of them, or there legitimately is genuine hurt there.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And I don't. It was. And whether that's right or I know that's not the point of this, but I think one reason I have grown more sympathetic is because I know for me, like I look at my upbringing and my faith journey, can we call it that? Bro, my mom and dad are so solid, dude.
Yeah.
Like love Jesus, they're so solid. Like just our house is one of those houses that serve the Lord. By God's grace, First Baptist has been such a church of character and integrity for so long. But I think about churches like a Mars Hill, like other places, that plant in a city and they're reaching people who have no faith background, have no stuff. And then all of a sudden you have this church where truly this pastor becomes a spiritual shepherd over you,
Right.
which is a biblical thing,
Correct.
and a spiritual father in many ways. I mean, if you think about it, and I have grown in more sympathy to like, dude, I can see where from the outside looking in, that could wreck someone.
Yeah.
And where it's just like, okay, I believed in this Jesus and this gospel that you were preaching to me.
Yeah.
But now your life, from their perspective, and I know there's a ton of different.
See, and
but that's a big deal.
But when
Like,
I get
it's
that,
not nothing.
It's what do you do after the church hurt?
Yes.
Right. Because I mean, the thing is like, okay, when you as Christians, we don't live in line with scriptural teaching, and we don't love other people. We give non-believers, like we justify their non-belief in our God.
That's a good point.
Because Jesus did say, the world will know that you are my disciples by the love that you have for one another.
Yeah.
Talking to his disciples. And so if his disciples are not loving one another, the world's not going to know that we're his disciples, right? So like, okay, that's non-believers though. If you're a believer, you know grace. You should.
Yeah.
So you ought to be like, bro, like, and you also know depravity.
Yeah.
So to be shocked, and I know this sounds very cynical, but to be shocked when people do stuff shows that we don't really believe in depravity like that.
Mm.
We really don't.
Yeah.
If I'm shocked that a pastor committed sexual abuse, I could be hurt by it,
Right.
but shocked by it?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not shocked by it.
that
Like, yo,
that could never have happened.
he's fallen. Like, he's a fallen human being.
He's a dude.
Yeah, like, okay, so like, because we talk about like pastors falling, they've already fell. We've all fell. Everybody fell when Adam fell.
Mm.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so I'm not gonna be shocked. I'm gonna be saddened, right? I'm gonna be disappointed, but I'm not gonna be shocked. And that's what, and it could be because people haven't been taught much. Now, if you have like an authoritarian dictator, kind of like a Driscoll was, where, but even then, like if you listen to some of his teaching, it wasn't like, "Thus says Mark Driscoll," and you do thus.
Yeah.
He would preach, right? And so, if your faith is built on what someone else has said, by all means deconstruct that. And that's where like I would have a hard time having an excessive sympathy,
Mhm.
is because, man, like what you're saying is that the Jesus who saved you, really, one, probably maybe never even actually saved you, and two, he isn't in your eyes worth still following. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that to me, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I mean, I have to, as a Christian, at that point, I have to be like, bro, I'm sorry, but 1 John chapter 2, you were with us, you went out from us because you were not of us.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be a
trying to be
snob.
sure.
I'm not trying to
Just
be
trying to-
mean.
yeah.
I'm just trying to say, look, dude, I get, like, dude, I mean, bro, I've been hurt by churches. Like, it doesn't feel good. But that doesn't mean that I should just,
Yeah.
because I wasn't married to the church.
Yeah, I would even.
You understand? Jesus is married to the church.
Absolutely.
I'm married to Jesus.
Ooh, good
I
point.
can't leave
Ooh.
him,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like, that's just silly.
Because people say church hurt. I think it's helpful to say, okay, church hurt. Okay, stop. So the
People.
entire church.
Yeah,
hurt
exactly.
you.
There you go.
No, but the church hurt me. Who hurt you?
Yeah.
Because here's the deal.
Church member.
Here's the deal. I think a lot of
Members.
I wonder if a lot of deconstruction that we hear of is a person who was hurt by another person that you just described, but we've been taught to act like the whole unit that you are attached to is hurting you.
Yeah.
That's where it gets you, because
Right.
it's so overwhelming. It's like, okay, it's overwhelming, but it's
Right.
not as overwhelming as you're making it.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you literally feel like now when you walk into church,
Right.
all 100 set of eyes hate your guts and they're
Right.
going to harm you.
Right.
No, that one person did that with
Exactly.
you. And I would tell you, if most of those,
And you got to understand it's
99 eyes.
spiritual,
Yeah.
man. Satan's going to want you to think it's the
Exactly.
entire church.
and if most of those 99 eyes knew that
Right.
person hurt you, they would say, "Come here, baby, let's work on this."
Right. Right.
So here's my question, person
Right.
who deconstructs.
Right.
Have you done that work to give the benefit of the doubt that maybe a person legitimately hurt you, and you
or even
invite-
several
yeah,
people.
or you invite the rest of the family to help you deal with
Right.
that hurt?
Right.
Because here's what happens. I
Yep.
think a person who deconstructs spends a lot of time when they're deconstructing
In
learning how to
isolation, dude.
deconstruct more than they learned how to be in Christ.
Yeah.
Right. I agree. Well, it starts a lot of times. It'll start with isolation.
Yeah, yeah.
So you'll be in the family, but you isolate yourself
Yeah, don't do
from the
that, man.
family,
Don't do
and
that.
at that point, you're just steps away
Yeah.
from getting. And then also like, wasn't it Joshua Harris left his wife?
It was a
Come
lot. There
on,
was a lot
bro.
there.
Like you wanted your own desires, dude. You didn't want no. I wanted to, authentically follow. You didn't want
Man,
that crap,
and
dude.
if
You
I give
wanted
any
your
credit,
flesh.
it seems like, and I could be wrong because I haven't kept up with it anymore. Somebody called him out because he was basically doing what Joshua Harris does.
Yeah.
And
Cosper
that's
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was basically creating programs to
Yep.
deconstruct. I'm like, dude, you're just
Evangelism.
now-
to
You're a
do that.
money grabber, big guy.
you want people to follow you
Yeah.
now somewhere. It's like, dude, stop. And he did. I think he
Yeah.
dialed it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should.
He should. He should just come back home, man.
Yeah. Honest, maybe
I
just-
know.
Come back
And-
home.
I mean,
dude.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Come back
What are you
home.
doing?
Just
You
in
come
think-
back to your wife and to
Yeah.
both,
Yeah.
bro.
Repent of your sin and come back to Christ.
Yeah. I just in thinking about it, I think it's like maybe
Come to
the area.
Hey, got me a little fired up again.
Not John MacArthur. fired
Not
up.
John MacArthur fired up, but we get a little fired
We might
up.
get there though.
I hope not. I
For the
hope-
viewer, you know what I'm saying? No, but I think oftentimes when people go through deconstruction or whatever, is we look at it as the problem was in the moment when that hurt happened.
Yeah.
When maybe a better way to think
There's a
about
lot-
it is
that's
the
true.
problem probably was in the early stages of discipleship.
Yeah.
To be
that's
able to
true.
willingly tell people like, hey, like, dude, these people, they might mess up. They might
yeah.
might probably
you
will
need
mess
to say.
up.
I think.
mean,
I
we'll
think,
fall short.
and I would say that's what
That's
as a
true.
church we need to do. Probably that is one thing that I will give. I will concede that point.
Uh-huh.
Is we need to communicate to people with very strong clarity. Hey, we believe in depravity.
Yeah.
And that means that people are sinful.
Yeah.
People will hurt you.
Yeah.
And there will be believers in this church. Like, dude, we're going to hurt each other.
All the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And here we are doing a podcast as leaders in our church,
That's
right.
right.
So, like, you need to communicate to people, your pastor's probably going to hurt you.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's not going to. Now, if he does it intentionally, you
Man.
need to have a conversation with them, right?
Man, I'm
but like
reminded-
it's going to happen.
I'm reminded of a situation where a pastor he was in sin.
Yeah.
And once it came out, people interviewed the congregation, and the coolest thing they said was they were sad.
Yeah.
But he had taught them that people will sin.
Right.
And so they're not going to stop going to church and turn from their faith, even if their pastor is found out
Right.
to be living in a season
Yeah.
where he's.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And they literally were like,
Yeah.
because we're praying for him, we
Yeah.
love him,
Yeah.
but we want him to turn.
Well,
from his.
and
I was
then-
like, what?
And then there's like there are people who
Did you make Sam make you
Well,
coffee?
I asked him. I
He's
said,
not a
"What do you think
barista,
of
bro. He's a producer.
No. Well,
Sam-
he brought me some sugar in the rock.
Oh, what a guy. Gosh, I
But,
love you, Sam. I love you.
No,
That's why he's in the payroll, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry to interrupt.
listen, we appreciate that. I appreciate that. No, I was gonna say like there are people who have been taught like people will sin against you, right?
Yeah.
But we all that's the way that I like to think of it. We all believe that everyone's a sinner,
Yes.
but when somebody actually does the sinning against you, it's just like, how could you do that?
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, well, either one, you never really believed that everyone was a sinner, okay?
Mhm.
Because if you did, you wouldn't be shocked.
But
You
isn't
really
that interesting though? Because you want everybody not to be a sinner,
Yeah.
which means you have a desire for a perfect.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah, I
have it
know,
in
right?
Jesus.
I know.
Yeah,
You
Isn't
have
that
it in
great?
Jesus.
Isn't that great?
That's cool.
You want a perfect friend who will
You
never
have it,
fail you.
and we have
Who-
him.
Yeah. And that's where deconstructionists need to land.
Yeah.
And that's where we'll
I
land.
just
Well,
got the
that's-
tingle.
well,
I just got
That's
the
how I was gonna say.
That's
it's a
good, dude. You got the
it's-
Holy Ghost goosebumps.
tingle.
Let's go, baby.
That's how I was gonna.
Do you want me to? I'll shut the door.
That's what the segue. Shout out to Anthony Kendall. He gave me a piece of advice, and I don't remember what the context was, but I'll never forget when he said it. He said, as pastors, he said, you always have to be kicking the pedestal out from underneath your feet.
It's good.
That like just people are inclined to look at
That's right.
you in a up way, which in some way they should. I mean,
Absolutely. We're held to a higher
You're held to a higher
We do
standard.
that to each other,
In some way, you
Yep.
should.
Yeah. You want people to
But not at the expense of they're not human. So here's the follow up to that question.
Okay.
Oh, there's a follow up. Yes.
Yes, really. I mean, we've kind of already
glad.
hit around it, so we don't need to be.
Good
We don't need
question,
to be
by
hit
the
around.
way.
That's a
line.
great question.
He said, "How do you talk about faith with a family member who has walked away from their faith and deconstructed?" And he said that his brother and his friend has underwent that process, which is terribly sad. And I hate that. But how do you do it?
I think number one, you don't feel the burden that you shouldn't. You don't feel a burden that you don't need to feel. Meaning, what did I do to make this happen? I don't feel that if you didn't. If you're not responsible for sinning against them. And
Right.
the other burden is I'm the one that's going to bring salvation back to them.
You can't do that.
Stop.
Yeah.
So those two burdens, confess that you don't have the ability to do.
Amen.
And so now you say, God, how do I love them? And when the conversation comes up, help me with the words to say that glorify you.
Mhm.
And ultimately, allow the Lord to use this to say, I saved you. And you're in me. Nothing's going to snatch you out of my hands. Not even deconstruction.
Yeah.
So, and then you just listen and have conversation.
Yeah. I would say, and this is kind of assuming that something happened in their life to spark that, and maybe it didn't. Maybe it just was. Something happened. You know what I'm saying?
Maybe it was a TikTok video.
It might have been. Yeah, something.
There's a lot of those
At
out there,
this
buddy.
point, yeah.
Yeah, I would say two things. Is one, don't diminish the power of praying.
Oh,
Right. It's a spiritual battle, man. It's not a logical or a philosophical battle before it is a spiritual one. And so don't diminish just the power of praying. And I would just say, man, as we quoted a minute ago, God's word says that Jesus is the chief cornerstone, right? And so just preach and remind them that ultimately it's Jesus, it's faith in Jesus plus nothing, right? Like that's what I think about. Preached that the other night. You listened? I did. Sam gave me the point.
Shout out.
I heard a great example one time. I forgot what preacher used this, but he was talking about. It's fascinating that one of the worst things that any quote unquote followers of Jesus has ever done was Judas betrayed Jesus, right? And betrayed him, sold him, literally to his death. Of the remaining 11 disciples, all of them preached the gospel until they died, kept following Jesus, even though one of their brothers, quote unquote, whacked out and went crazy. And it's because their faith was never built on each other. It was built on Christ, and they knew who Christ was. Yeah. And I thought that was and if that's not a good example, y'all tell me why it's not. But I thought that was such a good picture of, yeah, dude, people that you thought were with you.
People suck, bro.
People that you thought were with you.
Let's be real.
Suck counter, number one.
Oh, shoot.
Two, I just said it.
No.
I just said it.
Your mom.
My mom.
Oh, no, Jan, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I forgot all about
He
this.
said crap earlier. So
I need to have a whiteboard. I just mark. You know what I'm saying? But people do crazy stuff, and guys that you thought were with you, and ladies just are with you.
But see, you said
their
something
faith's built on
I
Christ.
don't
It
want
was
to miss
cool.
because I get so distracted with this. You said, but our faith is not in the people of the church.
Yeah,
It's in the head of the church.
that's good.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes
Yeah.
we're guilty of letting this kind of stuff happen because we've realized, or hopefully, even your friends will realize, wait, my faith was more in the people than in Jesus.
Yeah.
And I would even say a person who's really frustrated in deconstruction is actually pointing to the fact that there is truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're upset that things got all whacked out is actually showing that, okay, yeah, me too. I don't like it when things get whacked out.
Yeah.
Run to Jesus.
Yeah.
Depend on Him.
Well, and take encouragement that if if somebody hurts you, like you said earlier,
Yeah.
if you shared that with a different church member, take encouragement by the fact that they would probably be on your side, and
Yeah.
they would be like, "Dude,
Yes.
what did they do to you?
Yes.
Like, let's go talk to them."
And be honest enough to also do this. When you go address it,
Yeah.
after having a conversation, you may
Yeah.
actually come to a place where you realize,
Yeah.
I kind of overreacted
Yeah.
about that. This was
Yeah.
a misunderstanding. Or
Yeah.
it gives an opportunity to forgive someone
Yeah.
and someone to
Yeah.
repent. And
I
ask
love.
for
I
forgiveness.
love. I want. I want to
Don't
say.
miss that.
I want to say to the question. Ask questions. Ask your people
Yeah.
questions.
Yeah.
I recently did something with a friend, and we were just talking about, if we spent more time asking people why they don't believe, rather than telling them to believe, that you might end up having better gospel conversations
Yeah.
than you do have.
What's crazy is everybody that went to the retreat this weekend, if they're
Uh-huh.
watching this, if they watch this, they would
Yeah.
go, that was what they learned this week.
Yeah, no, it's
Just
important.
listen and
And ask questions, and then to take a sermonic turn. Just you said don't diminish the power of prayer.
Yeah.
I would say before that, don't downplay the presence of pain with them,
Look at
right?
you,
With
bud.
that individual.
Okay, wait. Don't. Okay.
Don't downplay the presence of pain. So acknowledge, dude, something happened.
Yeah.
Whether that was a church member that hurt them, whether that was they saw a video, whether that was they have this longing in their heart for something that is just aching, right?
Yeah.
And they've bit the lie that Jesus isn't the one to satisfy
Yeah.
them. That's pain.
Mhm.
So don't downplay the presence
Oh,
of
no,
pain.
no.
And then don't diminish the power of prayer.
and
And
then
then I want
don't-
to say don't dismiss the power of the gospel. But it doesn't have not
I
a
knew
P.
we had
But
to
there's
do
no
it.
P though.
That's what I was gonna say. We had to
There's
do the
no
third
P.
one. I
Yeah, we
love
needed
it.
a
I
third
love
P.
I love it.
But
two
that-
is never the hard one. It's always the
That's
third.
our third.
It's always the third. It's always the
There's
third.
a Trinity thing going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, dude.
Great question.
But I
man.
think that's good.
love
I think
that.
that's a
good
good
question.
way.
I think we've said enough. That's great.
Amen.
Hey, important question. What's your favorite breed of dog?
Frenchie.
I-
Oh
Frenchie.
man,
Steve
I like
loves-
a beagle, bro.
I think that's the most fun fact about you, bro. Like I would,
Frenchie
like,
guy?
like if someone said, "What's Steve's favorite breed of dog?" I don't know where Frenchie would be on the list, but it would not be
dude.
number
I
one.
love
But
my
you love
Frenchie.
your Frenchie,
I
man.
love Louis. He's a great dog.
King Louis.
I didn't have a love for a dog until Louis.
Didn't he like have surgery or something with his leg, and you brought him in the office one day? What happened? When did you bring him in the
He
office?
cut his dew claw. He pulled it.
Were you here on staff at that
Yeah.
point yet?
I don't think so.
He's
I walk in and
he's
there's just like
precious,
Louis
dude.
just sitting there chilling. And
He's
I'm like,
kind of
I
cute.
love this, bro.
He's a
I'm here
critter
for
dog,
it.
man. Seriously, he's great.
That's
He's a great
awesome.
dog.
So I mean, I love our golden doodle. He's awesome. Favorite looks wise though,
Mhm.
I think Dobermans are sick.
They are so good.
Golden
They're just
Retriever's
so
Golden Retriever's a
powerful.
beautiful dog.
Do you think I said golden retriever?
No, you said Golden Doodle, and you said Doberman.
Doberman, yeah.
Yeah,
I thought,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no. I was just saying if we're talking about like
Thanks for not caring.
the way
about
that no, I thought if we were talking about the way the dog looks,
Yeah, true.
then yeah, like a Golden Retriever's really pretty.
it. I do like both.
Dobermans they do look stately.
Okay, here's a big one.
Slightly looking.
What?
What was yours?
A beagle.
He said big one.
Beagle.
I love beagle, man.
What shampoo do you use?
All right, I'm going to go
Do you
first.
really want to know? I was gonna say,
I
mine's
just-
running away from.
And
my
I need a
face.
haircut. I just keep washing my face on back.
I
There you
just
go.
keep washing my face.
Love that. I use some native brand that Courtney
Ooh,
has.
so
Native.
fantastic.
She refuses to let me use like Old Spice
You
or
Democrat.
some of that.
What
She,
are you,
Why?
Democrat?
yeah, I know. Huh?
Why?
Because
Why
of
does she refuse?
chemicals.
Oh, you'll be okay.
That's what I say. But Courtney's big on like.
It should, dude. You'll,
honest
it'll
brand.
smell better, and she'll
Courtney,
be like, "Wow,
we are
hey,
chemicals.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Courtney, we are chemicals.
Yeah,
We are chemicals
Flesh
as
and bone.
men or as human beings."
Period.
Both.
You heard what I said.
What shampoo do you use?
So I use. I'm specific because my hair is thinning out. I use Everyman Jack. It's like a 2-in-1 thickening.
Sam's nodding.
2-in-1 thickening. It's like
Is it
tea
really?
tree and cedar.
So if I put it on my hair, will I get?
I don't know if it'll come back.
Oh.
It'll thick up what you have. I don't know if it'll come back.
You know what I
though.
love? You said 2-in-1. We were in a systematic theology class. We were talking about the Trinity, and our
Are you gonna give some weird
our
analogies?
professor pitched out. Like, I'll tell you where he's going. But he said, "Give me your best Trinity analogy."
Oh, please don't.
Oh, wait for it.
You
So,
gotta
so a couple of them passed around, and one guy said 3-in-1 shampoo because it's
That's good,
all
dude.
one. Which
'Cause it's
actually,
all there.
Which actually though might be kind of my favorite analogy because like
Little conditioner, shampoo, and body wash?
The water one breaks down too easily. That's like modalism.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
football team one's dumb. Like and then my professor though said, "Okay, here are all your analogies. Take any analogy for the Trinity, throw it in a bag, light it on fire." And throw it off a cliff. That's anyway. So,
pretty
that was what it said. Okay. If
It's so
I
crazy.
love that.
I was about to make a joke. I don't know. I'm gonna make it. Okay. It says if Jehovah's Witnesses walk up to your door, and I just want to say,
Is this the joke?
when Jehovah's Witnesses walk up to
Okay.
your door.
It's not a matter of if,
Good.
brother. It's
Say,
a
let's go
matter
back.
of
I'm
when.
sorry.
It's
my
like,
bad.
is a person going to hurt your feelings? Yes. A person's gonna hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
Is a Jehovah's Witness going to? Yes.
I hope that didn't offend anybody. I'm sorry. If Jehovah's Witnesses walk up to your door and wants to share their beliefs with you, what scripture do you use to show them the truth?
Well, first, let them share their beliefs with you.
Mm,
Yeah,
Wow, look at
don't
you.
be so quick to. Oh, let me tell
Because
you.
what you say,
yeah,
ask questions.
you gotta ask questions.
Why do you? I think.
Say, hey, sister, so
I'm
and so.
sorry, we just came out this weekend, and I hope our students realize, guys, stop trying to figure how to defend, because we do need to defend
Yeah.
our faith, but don't defend it like you're going to lose it. Not going to happen.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
So just
Put-
listen.
Put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah, dude. Don't defend it like you know. That's
I
pretty
like
good,
that.
dude.
Seriously.
Yeah,
like that.
put the burden of proof on others.
Yes.
That's a big thing. I think that's very helpful.
Yeah. I mean, I would say to answer specifically, I'll say John 1.
What was it? It was what scripture? Would you turn
What
to?
scripture would you use?
But you need to be ready for their arguments, because they're going to have pushback
sure.
on John 1.
Sure. They're going
Here's
to.
the part you don't know. Here's the part that everybody needs to know inside baseball.
Yeah.
Baseball is their translators.
Mhm.
Their translators
Yeah,
do wacky stuff with the text.
they do. They do.
Because they would say
It's the New World Translation.
Because it's in the beginning was the Word, the Word was with
NWT.
God, and the Word was God. That's what
So if you see an
But they-
NWT Bible on the bookshelf at a used bookstore, leave it on the shelf.
That's right.
Or take it and burn
or
it.
do it a service and throw it away.
No,
I'm just kidding.
I mean, but for real though,
but-
it's
Don't
But they
false.
they
Bible.
translate John 1
Yes.
as in the Word was like God.
No, word
isn't
was
it?
a God.
A
The Word
God,
was
not
a
the
a
God.
a
Yeah.
God. Yeah. But I would still say I think that's still the best diving. I
Totally.
would dive in there.
Totally.
And then
I mean, they're going to go with the translation issue.
sure. But then I would go to another passages. I would go, man, honestly, like just the entire Gospel of John. Like if you want to have a translation,
It's almost like John wrote that in order that we might believe.
you
So
know,
when
it
ju-
is.
Is
it?
It's
I mean,
almost
it
like
is.
he did that. John
I'm sorry,
20.
It sounds
that sounds
Like,
good.
I did it so you would believe.
But bro, there is
Oh,
such
my
an
goodness.
emphasis in really,
Yeah.
I mean, kind of his whole gospel, but like
Right.
especially when you get to with the high priestly prayer
Right.
and John 8. John 8's huge on that, where Jesus is so abundantly clear. Yo, if you've seen me, you've seen the Father.
Which is
Yeah.
why.
I and the Father are
Well, because
one.
Jehovah's Witnesses
And-
don't believe in the deity of Christ.
Right, which
yes.
is why, and here's the difference. Here's
Yeah.
the line of marking there is because they de-emphasize. Oh, they love Jesus. They like Jesus. They
Yeah.
point. Yeah, but
He's cool.
He's cool. He's
Yeah.
great, and we
Yeah,
listen
yeah.
to his teaching.
Yeah.
But they de-emphasize that he's God.
Yes. Yes.
In fact, they don't de-emphasize.
Well,
it. They deny that he's.
I like. I'll
They're
take them.
antichrist. That's
Yeah,
what
no, they are literally.
Yeah.
I take them. I mean, that's what John. I just got done teaching through First John, and John says,
Ooh.
you know, that whoever does not have the Son, whoever denies that the Son came like in the flesh, that's the
That's the-
that is
the-
Antichrist.
That is
right?
the thing.
And that is like they are 100% antichrists. And so no, I mean, I think it's. Is it John 20 where Thomas, says to Jesus, "My Lord and my God,"
Yep.
and Jesus doesn't like turn him away.
Nope.
Jesus is like, "Dude, you're right." And, and so like I've had conversations with Jehovah's Witnesses. It was hilarious. This is when I was pastoring a church. The church is literally 2 doors down, and these Jehovah's Witnesses would come every day, or not every day. They would come every week, and like I would have conversation after conversation after conversation. Finally, I got to the point where I was like, "Look, we don't believe the same things." And they were like, "No, yes we do, yes we do." And I was like, "No, look, you guys believe a false gospel." And I had to just because it just got to the point where I was like,
Let's stop
"You
cutting
guys aren't
corners.
listening to anything. You're not converting me, and apparently I'm not converting you. So like, let's just hack this thing altogether."
Yeah.
And hilarious, just to show their persistence. Which I will say,
Mm.
we
Yeah.
as evangelicals need to learn something from Jehovah's Witnesses in their persistence and perseverance in witnessing to people. Because, dude, these suckers, we moved, bro. Listen to me. We moved. They wrote letters
Did they
to
really?
our new address.
Wow.
Yes. They haven't done it because we moved from where we were to Wake Forest. They would write letters. We would get one a month.
Wow.
And then they I don't think they found our new address, because if they did, I bet you money they'd still send them.
Wow.
Right. Persistence.
That is persistent. Wow. Dang. So yeah, I would say without Scripture, really anything that is in reference to Jesus being fully God, and that's that's going to be the main.
I just think, especially with Jehovah's Witness, they're going to do some wacky stuff with John 1.
Sure.
They're also going to bring up firstborn. He was created.
Yeah,
They're gonna
yeah.
try to convince you that he's created.
Yeah.
They're going to use the
Colossians
firstborn.
1.
And if you don't understand the emphasis of firstborn throughout the text of Scripture,
Yeah.
it's going to make you weird out a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
in
Hopefully,
Colossians.
Sam was paying attention that night of Colossians 1, because we talked about that. Remember that?
Mhm.
We
It's
did.
authority.
We did.
He
Yeah.
has
It's
it
not
all.
a position. It's not a statement
It's not
that
saying-
Jesus was born. It's a
statement.
declaration that Jesus has
It's
authority.
It's another
yeah.
emphasis
He's
of
the
his position.
heir to all things.
He's the positional.
Which is
That's all.
sick.
That's awesome.
I like this question. This is a fun one. I put this under the fun category, but this is kind of fun. Favorite most awesome battle story in the Old Testament, and why do you think
Favorite
it's so
most
amazing?
awesome battle story. Favorite most
I like the one where the
awesome.
dude went to the bathroom when he was
In
assassinated.
Judges.
When he was assassinated
In the
in
Judges?
the bathroom. I
No,
think so.
yeah.
Is that right? I should probably know
I think
this.
it's Judges.
Here's the thing. You want some good stories of battle? Judges.
Get into Judges,
Get
bro.
into Judges.
It gets
Middle-
bloody.
Middle school boys, read through Judges.
That's
You
what-
will love the Word of God more.
I just hate.
It's true.
I just hate when people say the Bible is boring. 'Cause
So
I'm like,
weird,
dude,
dude.
they just read
Joker's
it.
sitting on the
Goodness
toilet and he
gracious.
cuts his guts out.
You know what battle story
He
I
must
wish
be in there. He must really need to go. He's still there.
he did.
He did.
Yeah.
You know what battle story I wish
been
we
an hour and a
had?
half.
Smells weird.
So you know what battle story I wish we had more detail on? Have I told you the story about the first paper I had to write in college? Have I told you this? So shout out to Dr. Cribb Anderson. I love that dude. First day of class, it's syllabus. I'm gonna make the story well, and it's be a first day of class.
No,
though.
I'm here for it.
He starts passing around this Green Bay Packers mini helmet, and it's got slips of like Bible verse references on it. You know what I'm saying? And everyone's drawing out one, and whatever paper you drew, that's what you had to write an exegetical analysis on, which is just a paper about the passage and all that stuff. And so I'm pulling up, and Steve's missing my story.
It's okay,
Man.
He'll laugh.
And
from
so
out there.
I'm pulling up all these things, and I get mine right. And I read Judges 3:31 on the he's still talking, and I just like Judges 3:31. So of course, as he's giving the syllabus, I'm like, well, I got to go see what Judges 3:31 because he's talking about how it's a 10-page paper, and I'm like, yo, this is one verse. Like, how am I going to write all this stuff? So I take out Judges 3:31. Let me see if I still remember it. It says, and after Ehud came Shamgar, son of Anath. Shamgar struck down 300 Philistines with an ox goad. He too saved Israel, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro,
too.
that can't be it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is one verse. And so Dr. Cribby finishes and he said, I have a question. Who drew Judges 3:31? And I'm like, oh crap. And so I raised my hand and he just kind of laughed and said, good luck. Because basically it's like a 10-page paper on one verse, and there's not a Shamgar is mentioned twice in the Bible.
Yeah.
But apparently that dude took an ox goad,
Got him.
farm equipment,
Got him.
and killed 300 Philistines.
Yeah, he did.
That's
And
nuts.
he too.
You want to know
He
why?
too.
You know what? My
I feel
theory?
like you could preach that very easily.
Oh, bro.
Because
Yeah.
he too.
Well,
Don't
you want to know my theory?
even if there's not many details about your life, you're not written down in the annals of history. But as long as it said, and he too served
I love it.
God
You wanna know my
faithfully.
the- you know
He
my theory?
too
Well, you know my theory?
sought the salvation of men. He too. You know what I mean? You're just going and going. And it's like, hey man, brother. Hey man.
So my theory, if you care, well, more right now, Steve. My theory of why, because there's all these theories of why we know two verses. I don't think Shamgar was an Israelite.
Okay.
He was a son of Anath. I think that's. Let me make sure. The Wi-Fi's not working in here. But
gosh.
he was a son of Anath, so he wasn't an Israelite.
Yeah.
And here's what I think it is. I think the author of Judges is almost ashamed that Israel was in such a state of depravity
I like it.
that God raised up someone else.
Yep.
But what's amazing is that because God made a promise to his people, even the unfaithfulness of his people will not stop him from keeping his promises.
That'll preach.
And that's so dang good. But favorite Bible story, I love Joshua 10, Sun Stand Still. I preached on that in blended service. Shout out. That's a great one just because it's like worldly. That's nuts. You know what? Maybe my favorite though, I think just like to picture. Oh, there's so many. My favorite way to picture is in 1 Samuel when people are coming. I think it's Philistines, right? They're coming to attack the people of Israel. Right? They're coming. And I'm gonna butcher this story. I preached on this one time too. But basically, Samuel. They have a time of sacrifice, right? So the armies are literally closing in, and they sacrifice a lamb. Right, and I just imagine like the people of God, armies are closing in, and literally they're like they have a worship service. You know what I'm saying? And it says the Lord thundered from heaven, and it scattered the armies.
Did.
But here's what's so sick about that is Baal. Sam, do you know what he was the god of? Like he's the god of thunder, the god of rain, the god of all that stuff. So what I love, and this is what I said when I prayed, I thought this was sick, is when thunder happened, the men of Baal should have been like confident because
Rejoicing,
that's our God. But when God thundered, they're like, yo, that ain't our God. That God's bigger than ours,
That's
man.
something else.
And they just scramble and and
Yeah.
I think that's so sick,
That's
dude.
good.
I think that's so sick.
I like it.
So I don't know. Probably
That's
Joshua
awesome.
Joshua 10 though. Probably Joshua 10. So
None really
good.
come to mind. I mean, none are like, favorites. I don't like sit down with
Come on, man.
I don't like sit down with the boys. I'm like, hey boys, let me read you a bedtime story. You know what I mean?
David and Goliath,
Man, it's a great one.
Jericho.
And it's cool. Jericho's one of my. It's not one of my favorites,
Yeah.
but it's cool.
I think the Battle of Ai is cool and all the detail. I think that's a cool one.
Yeah.
That's a cool one.
I like.
I think I'd have to go Sun Stand Still though. That's so.
Sun stand
Unreal.
still.
Which did you say yours already?
Well, I was just the moment with the guy on the toilet's just funny.
Yeah, it is really
I
funny.
just think it's funny.
I love
like a
it.
good bit of humor.
I just
Hey,
yeah.
did anybody do you got to do the Jesus juke? Jesus on the cross. Favorite
Yeah,
battle
that's it.
Hey,
They
man.
did say Old Testament. They did say
Old Testament.
I love it.
Well, it's in there too.
story? Is that,
Hey man.
It is.
we don't
Come on.
unhitch for that.
Speaking of Old Testament, major versus minor prophets,
Yeah.
and their importance to the prophecies that Jesus fulfilled.
Major versus minor and their importance.
I'm gonna let y'all take this one.
What?
He's got to do it.
God, we need your expertise.
Come
Yeah,
on.
y'all two have both taken breaks. I'm gonna take a break.
I knew when I came back, I was like, okay, so when's Justin going to take it? Don't trip over something. You be the homer that did it.
Dude, that would be bad.
be answering that by the time we get
Major, minors.
Major versus minor, and I think it was submitted to.
So
to
what
us.
are the major prophets? Give some definitional
major?
frameworks
Major. Tell them why they're major.
because they're just bigger in the Bible.
They're longer.
They're longer.
Longer books.
That's the significant.
Isaiah, Jeremiah.
That's right.
What else? Daniel? No.
Mhm.
Ezekiel.
Yep.
Um,
Then you get the
minor, Malachi, Haggai, Habakkuk, Jonah, Micah. Yeah, all those little ones. What? Let me see. Hang on. Major versus minor prophets and their importance to the prophecies that Jesus fulfilled.
yeah, the minor ones are Hosea, Joel, Amos, Obadiah, Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah,
Yeah.
and Malachi.
I don't think I fully understand. But Steve, give me what you think this means. Major versus minor prophets and their importance to the prophecies that Jesus fulfilled. Like, there's going to be more allusions to Jesus in like Isaiah.
Well, but the thing is, isn't there more of a? And just because I wonder if it's just because of the size and there's so much covered and there's so many details, and I mean we have to understand the reason they say major is because they're bigger.
Yes.
And so since there's bigger, they're going to be more allusions to stuff because it's just bigger.
Right.
And some of the minor prophets dealt with certain, I think, and this is, I'm not saying this because I'm a major minor scholar, but it's a
Minor scholar for sure.
I'm a minor
We're
scholar.
nowhere near major scholars.
The major
We're-
scholar just showed back up.
Yeah. Hey, he is.
And so
Yes.
here we go. And so with that though, some of the minor prophets are more like, for instance, like Hosea, right? And that's one of the minor
Yes,
prophets.
it is.
Hosea is dealing with a life story of a man in the prophecy. People see he's saying something in his life, and so it's talking
Yeah.
about his life.
Yeah.
And then there's little shots of this is,
Redemption
That's
and
right.
such.
and so yeah. So what's the what?
Oh,
how do
we're saying I
I don't know if there's much.
don't fully understand.
I don't.
It's major versus minor and their importance importance to the prophecies that Jesus fulfilled. I just said
Come on,
there's going to
Justin,
be
tether us
more
back to reality.
there's going to be more specific references to like future fulfillment stuff in like Isaiah
right.
than like like
Just 'cause
Isaiah's
there's
filled
more room.
Well, no, Isaiah's just filled with like the virgin shall conceive and bear a child.
Yeah, but isn't it?
light
I mean,
has shone.
Micah is the one that says he's born in Bethlehem, right?
Well, so that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
it's
There's some, but like Jonah, Jesus said the sign of Jonah, but like if you read through Jonah, it's like okay, yeah, I see it, but it's not like, and he will be born of a virgin, he'll be
Right.
born here. You see what I'm saying? And like specific things like that.
So is
and then
this
like Haggai is
right.
more like
Y'all
Because-
keep talking. I gotta find something.
Because prophecy, because some of the prophecy is just what's going to happen to the children of Israel. What's going to happen to Israel. This is going to come down if you don't do, you know what I mean? And so when it comes to Christ, the prophecy of Jesus and who he is and him accomplishing what the Bible says he is, those are that's some of those that comes out of the Daniel and Isaiah, those kind of places, right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, I mean it's everywhere. I don't think I fully understand the question. I'd say they're there, and they're important. Minors are just as important as majors.
Yep. They're just
Just
smaller.
smaller.
I miss one of my best friends, Eli. I miss him more
What'd he say?
than he knows.
Tell us what he
Eli,
said. Tell us
shout
what he
out.
said.
The other week we texted.
Did you just phone a friend?
No, the other week we were texting, and he said, "I'm teaching through Jonah right now. It's pretty sweet." He said, "You know what's crazy?"
It's pretty sweet.
He said, "You know what's crazy about the sign of Jonah?" So talk about this.
The
This is-
sign, yeah.
So in 1:17, the word for the fish is masculine in Jonah, like in the Hebrew. In 2 verse 1, it's feminine. There are not textual variants, which just means
Yeah,
some
pretty much that.
translation, some copies of manuscripts we have, there might be differences, and so there's like, okay, do they mean to put feminine or do they mean to put masculine? There's no textual variants. Like it was feminine, and there are no syntactical issues in play. It seems intentional by the author. This is sick. I think the point is that metaphorically, Jonah isn't in a stomach, but he's in a womb, and he's waiting to be born again.
I agree.
How sick is that?
It's pretty good.
That's pretty dang cool, man.
That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty dang cool. I thought that was awesome. Anyway,
Well,
I agree with everything else.
Let me ask you a question.
I don't know
Let
what
me
else
ask
said,
this
but I think I agree.
So when a whale or fish, a mammal, right?
It doesn't matter.
A great fish.
A great fish.
Yeah.
So then, if this could be a wormhole that I'm going down. I don't need to. Like if the type of fish
We haven't gone down many
that
yet.
delivers
Yeah, that's true. We're doing pretty good on time.
that delivers their offspring whole are what? Whales.
I have no idea. Yeah, no, he said that like that was common knowledge. Am I supposed to know?
Like,
I don't know.
like there are fish that do the eggs and then the eggs develop.
Yeah.
But they're
Oh, like giraffes,
Yeah.
cows, dude.
yeah, but no.
Cows,
So swimming
they
cow.
birth humans do.
Stop. Yes, but like whales,
Okay.
when they give birth in the
it's a
water,
whale.
it's a whale.
What about dolphins?
I think so.
Dolphins,
Okay.
right? And so here's the deal. So that's why you can literally say it could be a whale because it has a womb.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
where I'm going with the
I have
womb.
no problem being a whale. Yeah. I
I don't
have
know.
no problem with it being a whale.
Because
I don't know.
that's when he said, could it be helping us understand what some people when they go to the whale?
If people
analogies-
I'm going to shamelessly plug this because this has nothing to do with me. But if you're in the book of Jonah, pick up Tim Keller's book on Jonah.
good, is it
It's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Interesting.
good? Real thing. It was not a metaphorical thing. It was a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what y'all said, but I think major and minor prophets, they're both important. I think they both have prophecy, and they're both.
They're very important.
Yeah. I don't know what the question.
My
I
question
didn't
would
fully
be,
understand the question.
what are you reading to ask that question? I mean,
I don't fully
Yeah.
understand the question.
or is it as simple as
Interesting.
major, or is it as simple as you came across the idea that it's major
Maybe
and minor, and you think
we
that's a thing.
exactly.
'Cause that's
Maybe
something you
maybe we answered the question.
Yeah, it's just
We
the
just
side.
didn't
the
fully
length of the
understand
book.
it.
It's just the
Yeah,
length of the book.
yeah. Remember, it's not the message. It's
Yeah.
not the matter.
It's just the length.
It's the measure. I have no idea.
And very
dude.
likely-
that actually kind of works.
Very
But
likely.
That's when you alliterate
but
for
think
no
about
reason.
This, but think about this. Probably a lot of people they read the minor prophets because they were smaller books, and there's so they were actually the most popular because their books were read more because they were smaller.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
I
Just
agree.
kidding.
No, I
Okay,
would say
so I'm gonna mix up the
That's
order
fair.
real quick because I had a fun question next, but this,
I have one.
This
fun
kind of goes into we'll do yours after this.
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
This kind of goes into like writing and biblical authors and stuff. They asked this question.
This is a fun question.
No, it's
This doesn't sound fun at all.
They asked.
It sounds like work.
They asked a really long one. How do we know the Bible is complete? If the New Testament was written by people of various backgrounds, how do we know that there isn't more of the Bible being written now and that God isn't sending more of a message to us through other people now? And if there is other people that they wrote more of the Bible, why don't we believe them, but we believe the people then?
It's we talked about it before. I think apostleship. Apostleship's key.
Explain that.
Explain.
So
We're a
direct
5-year-old.
lineage to the apostles.
Yeah.
Yeah, either written by apostles or they had a close connection to an apostle, and that's why the church in Acts 2 devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching.
Yeah, that's good.
Right, and so we don't have
That's good.
apostles anymore. And I said this before, and I'll say it again without reservation. If you find yourself listening to somebody who goes by apostle, that man's a false teacher, and I would not listen to him.
My man
Certainly,
looked in the
if you
camera.
find a woman who says she's an apostle, I would say that to the nth degree. That woman is a false teacher, and you do not need to listen to her. If you go to a church that has apostles, I would not say that that's a biblical church. They are grossly misled on the matter of apostle. Apostle is one who has seen Jesus and one who has been sent by Jesus. You might have been, well, let's put it that way. If you ain't seen Jesus, you ain't been sent by Jesus in that context of being an apostle. And so therefore, if you say you've been sent by Jesus, but you ain't seen Jesus, you ain't an apostle. Okay? Period. Full stop. Right? So that's the apostles and then prophets. You're related to the prophets in the Old Testament. That's why we have the Old Testament, because of the prophets. So prophets are gone. Yes, there are people who still speak prophetically. There are people who think they speak prophetically, but they speak pathetically. There are many. Oh, brother, sister, I just see you doing this. No, you don't.
I said
You
the other-
got cataracts. You can't see nothing.
I told somebody
What
the
you
other day,
mean? You know?
I have a prophetic word for people that say they have a prophetic word. stop saying you have a prophetic word.
Yeah.
And I know sometimes you can, but gosh, man,
I
anyway.
say stop breaking commandments.
Now he does say
Stop using the
now
Lord's name
Paul
in vain.
does say do not despise prophecies, right?
That's true. Yeah.
So
that's
like
different.
there
That's
is,
different.
and it's the speaking out, not the
That's right.
speaking into existence,
I
right?
love it.
Huge difference between speaking things into existence and speaking
Yeah.
things out of the fullness of what you've
Yeah.
learned from Scripture, right? And that's the thing. I mean, I think people will say like the Holy Spirit said this to me, and I'm just, can we please just stop?
Stop
Spirit of
using
God
the
said
Lord's
this to
name
me.
in vain,
Spirit of God,
man.
and that is Spirit
Stop
of God.
using the
Spirit
Lord's
of
name in
God
vain.
told me this. Spirit of God told you what's in those 66 books. Spirit of God might have nudged you and gave you some sort of leading, possibly, right? It could have just been heartburn or indigestion.
Yeah.
But the Spirit of God didn't tell you
Right.
what's not in those 66 books.
Yeah.
And so why? So basically, they're asking, why are we not still having canonical books delivered to us? Because we also say God's still speaking. God's still speaking.
Yeah.
God's still speaking. How does God speak to you? That's the natural question.
Yeah.
Is He still doing it, and why isn't it in the Bible? You know. And so that's the.
Yeah,
That's
I like how you said. I mean, because especially because I know as a high schooler that asked it. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, our students know Acts 2:42, and I think what you said is really good.
Yeah.
Like, they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching.
Right.
So any book we have in the
Watch,
New Testament, there was a very close
Yeah.
connection to the apostles.
apostles.
Yeah, it's direct,
Very,
right?
yeah.
There's one thing I want to say, and I'm not going to tell the individual's name. I doubt he's listening to it. But he used to do this. Was in Bible college with him. Like one week, he was like, "Man, like God told me to leave here and go to Southeastern." That whole week, God told me to leave here and go to Southeastern. My man came back Monday the following week. God told me to stay. And I'm like, okay. So God just changed his mind? Bro, you run very serious risk of making God a liar when you say, Spirit of God told me this. God said this to me.
That's right.
You run and that just, you flippantly throw it around. It's taking the Lord's name in vain, dude. It can venture on blasphemy, and I would say, can we please just stop? Listen, if you're out there, this is one of those like public service. This is a PSA for you. If you're out there and you find yourself feeling the need to say, Spirit of God told me this, what do you say, Justin? What do you say to such people?
Stop.
Just stop, dude. Just stop.
I said that the other night, didn't I? Because we were talking in Colossians. We were talking in Colossians 2. And, you had these religious people that were going on puffed up with vain and conceit, and they're going on without talking about visions and stuff. And it was just this very spirit they were adding to the Bible. They're saying, God told me this. The Holy Spirit told me this. And,
Everybody just wants
that's
to
what,
look so
should we name names on this sometimes? I think
Sure.
sometimes that way.
Oh, yeah.
So to go out, I think this dude's a brother.
Well, he's dropping names.
I love it.
I'm going to leave on this part.
But they probably listen. They see
don't
this
know.
guy. They see this guy real. Like we were talking about Tim Ross earlier. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think Tim Ross is a brother. I do. I do think he is. He does that all the time. The Holy Spirit told me this. The Holy Spirit told me this. And I just, man.
Well, his most recent one was the Holy Spirit told me to cuss.
Well, the Holy Spirit
You saw
cuss.
that
Or
one?
well, the other one was, and this is going to freak someone out when they're listening. Is he went viral a couple months ago because he came back on stage, and he's got done with the sermon and came back on, and he used an illustration where he said the only stripper I'm in love with is Jesus, the one who stripped off glory, quoting Philippians 2, right? Did not consider equality with God something to grasp,
Right.
and put on humanity.
I mean, that's
right?
the word.
And
But not what that word means.
So he went under fire for that. And on a podcast recently, I won't say the podcast he was on, but on a podcast recently, he defends it by saying the Holy Spirit told him to go back out. And there were people, he started, it was kind of sick. I would never do it. But he had this beat, music's playing behind him as he's preaching stuff. And it's like this trap beat. And it's like, I got that bread in my pocket. And it's like this kind of thing. It was actually kind of sick. But people started
well, in context, you got to remember context.
People context, yeah.
So,
they're in the hood of Tulsa.
That's what I'm saying. So their church, you got to keep in context.
So people are doing this though in the congregation, like throwing money, throwing stacks. And he said that the Holy Spirit told him to go back out and redeem that moment.
Yeah.
And I just when you say that card, and when someone says, man, the Holy Spirit told me to do this, then, man, you can have 10 faithful brothers around you that say, dude, I don't think that was the best. You could redeem that moment without using that illustration.
Yeah.
And then, but who's to say that it's wrong?
Could you imagine? This is a perfect thing. Like, so, like you're, like somebody's closing out a sermon, and somebody's praying at the altar, and a pastor says, "Hey, if the Spirit of God is telling you to come pray with this person, come do so." You walk up. By the time you get there, they done stood up and walked off.
Yeah.
The Spirit of God told you to come pray with this person. They're no longer there.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's, you see what I'm saying? It just runs. There's just a better way to say it. Just say like,
or just tell them.
Or just think like, to the best of your ability, if you think the Lord is leading you to do this, to your feeble and weak like understanding, if you're trying to discern whether or not the Spirit of God is leading you to do this, then do it.
Yeah.
Don't do the whole, the Spirit of God told me. I don't know why we do the told me stuff. Because it's like I said, man, like, he told you one thing, but if he tells you something different that goes against what he said yesterday, either you're a liar or God's a liar.
Yeah. And
you're the liar.
Yeah,
God does not lie.
And so going back to
lie.
the question, totally understand why students are asking that question.
Yeah.
Because some of the words we use, they would say, but wait a minute, if God told you that means
right.
You need to write that down and at least go in the Bible.
Yeah.
Great question. That means our students are paying attention.
Yeah.
So we should be very careful how we use these words.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah. So
God told me. Okay.
Yeah.
God also told the Apostle John.
Yeah.
So does that make you an apostle
Yeah.
since God revealed himself? And so I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
So
I don't trust myself enough
No.
to be like, God told me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And I think there's a desire that people ask that question because everything in the world needs a new and improved version.
Yeah.
They need newness. They need something fresh.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't realize that the living Word of God is timeless.
It's enough.
Amen.
Yeah.
And so,
Sufficient, bro.
because
I
we
feel
go,
that.
I need more. I just need something else.
Yeah.
Like, if you say that, I would say, if you really believe that, God bless you. I'm glad you're asking that question. You probably aren't even reading the Bible.
Yeah.
Right.
Prayerfully,
Right.
hearing it as the words
Right.
of God.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I don't think I would ever say, he
Yeah.
needs to do more than this. I'm like, bro,
God, we love the Bible, huh?
I love the Bible.
Love
It's a great book.
Thank you, God.
Here's an important question. What's your favorite vacuum cleaner model?
Oh, that's easy.
What is the one that?
Oh, mine's the Rainbow for
Yeah,
sure.
of course,
Rainbow's
that's mine
awesome.
too.
It's legit, dude.
Nah, I really don't.
It's legit.
I don't know.
My wife got in the pyramid scheme a little bit of selling.
Well, that's
Rainbow.
why I was going to say which is the one.
She
Hey,
was
that's-
selling. She's out of it now. She made it. She made it out.
She's out of it
Yeah,
now?
she got
She
out.
paid for the one
She's been
she had.
delivered.
She got out.
She paid for the one she had. Good job.
So, well, she got it for free because she did a lot of stuff.
It wasn't free.
Well, it took time, but it did. Yeah.
It's not free.
We actually made some money from it. Actually,
I'm sorry. If they drop it off to your house, walk out, and don't require anything else,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
That's free.
She had to like go and do demos,
Right.
and then like
Which-
sold some in that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it was
So by definition, it was not free.
Well, that's what I backed up. I said, but also we made money from it, which was sick.
Yeah, and you got a great
and
vacuum
so
cleaner.
yeah, the vacuum cleaner's sick. It works. Shout out to Rainbow
That
Vacuums.
vacuum cleaner sucks.
They're expensive, but
It
they're
really does.
sick. What's your favorite vacuum cleaner?
Sorry, Jan.
Oh, I guess it sucks. That's number 3. 4. Gosh dang it! Every time I say it, it comes that's 4.
But that was like in context. That was actually the right word, right? So, I forgot. I can't remember. You see, you asked me a question, I forgot it. I'm looking at it in my brain right now.
Yeah.
Because I used it when I was cleaning churches in Texas. I don't know.
I don't know. No, it's funny. One time I was preaching. I think it was at the Lift. I was preaching a couple years ago, and I wanted to use the S word sucks 5. And I said I want to use this word right now, but my mom's in the room. So you know what a vacuum cleaner does, and I did it,
Yes.
and everyone just like bust out laughing.
And everybody else
It was funny.
The best vacuum cleaner that I like the best. It's an Oric. It's an Oric commercial. And let me tell you, buddy, it was light as a feather, but it could pull 10 years of dirt out of carpet. It was awesome.
That's
Dead
awesome.
serious, man. It
That's
was
awesome.
so good.
We were gonna go to one of Brad's questions next, but he's not here.
Oh, wow.
Did I already say?
Do you
this, Jim?
vacuum? Do y'all have a lot of carpet in your house? Do you vacuum a lot of house? Is your house carpet or hardwood?
You know, it's hardwood, but we still vacuum.
Yeah. Oh, so much easier than
Yeah.
sweeping.
The thing-
much easier than
Yeah,
sweeping.
the thing that's
Gets the
wild,
dust
dude.
out of
The thing that's
everything.
wild, like that, seriously, that rainbow thing. It's like it is a vacuum cleaner, but it's also I think it really is like an air purification system thing.
Right.
And dude, it is.
Yeah.
It's legit, man.
Isn't it cool?
I mean, it is really, really cool.
I'm not
It's
lying.
really,
People,
really cool.
oh, no, dude, it's a good product.
Yeah,
man.
it's really, really cool.
It's a good product.
Yeah. So anyway, I was gonna ask him. I wanted to wait for this.
Sam, give
Good.
us a
I'm glad
Sam
you're
question.
back. Yeah. What was your? Oh yeah, we did have Sam.
What we did when you left was like, Sam, throw out a question.
What's
We throw out
question?
a He has a random
Oh,
question.
well, Brad's back. Brad has a question.
A question for us.
Do you have a random one ready, locked and loaded?
Sure, why not?
Shoot.
What style of sunglasses do you like to wear?
What style of sunglasses? I'm not
Great
a big
question.
sunglasses guy,
I like Maui Jims.
but I wear Oakleys if I like Oakleys.
I'm a
I
Maui
can't
Jim
afford
kinda guy.
Maui Jims, dude. Those are
Okay.
nice.
That's why you keep them
I
forever.
don't even
Actually,
know what that
hey,
is.
watch this. For those of us on staff, did you know
That's right.
you can get prescription
Yes.
Maui Jims with your FSA?
Cool. I won't get
Which-
them.
but
Cool.
I'm
Pretty
just
good.
saying you
We
can.
have- that is one thing
With-
about our insurance that's really
The
good.
vision's really good.
Vision's
The-
really good.
It's really good.
Yeah, the flex spending account. Like
Thank
you
you,
can
Church.
you can do that.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Church.
Yeah.
Um,
What's your
and-
fun question? You had
What
one.
is it?
I was
Oh.
waiting on you, and then you
Thank you,
left.
Sam. Good
favorite style of sunglasses.
Good question, Sam.
Yeah,
Oakleys.
I like Maui Jims. What is it? Oh yeah, what kind of hand soap do y'all prefer? Is that like a foam or like a lather? Oh, dude, Ted's Montana Grill with the powder.
Oh, yeah.
You go to
Powder?
Ted's and you get some powder soap.
What?
Yeah, bruh.
Shout out to Ted's. I like Ted Montana. I
It
don't
gets
know.
you
Courtney
some,
does like some thieves thing or something.
But I like Ulta lavender.
Ulta lavender.
It's like it's from Ulta
Can you actually name your soap? Do you know what soap? it is?
lavender.
Mine's
Smells
named-
fantastic.
Mine's named George.
George.
Or the hand soap at Wakefield Plantation
Bro, why you got location?
because
Oh
they
my
smell
God.
so good.
He is a hand
But
soap
now I will say this:
aficionado.
if you go play golf at Providence Country Club ever,
Yeah, I don't.
Tell-
yeah,
go to the
I don't know
bathroom.
guys like you.
go
know.
to the bathroom and let me know because I think it is
And
I think it's a
and
McConnell.
let you know.
It's a McConnell property staple. They use the same soap at every club, and so
Yeah.
if you go, let me know if it smells really good. And if the
I-
answer is yes, I'm gonna be like, that's that soap.
I missed
I
the
can
day.
guarantee
Soap,
you I
that's
will
my
forget
favorite
that.
soap.
I'm going to tell you,
Smells incredible.
we're going to take a trip in the Wayback Machine. I miss the days when we go into public restrooms and they literally have a bar soap sitting in the sink.
That's kind of gross, dude.
I don't
When did they
remember-
do that?
I don't remember those days.
When was that?
That's what I'm saying. It's like a bar of ivory soap and you just go waka 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 waka.
Oh, that's weird, dude.
Sam is like,
Oh,
If you know what I'm talking about,
What?
hit the like button. Boom,
Bro, I don't
boom,
know.
boom.
that's insane.
yeah, we should have
dude.
told people if they're watching on YouTube to comment, bro. Like,
Subscribe
I
and hit
love the
like button.
comments, bro.
Just pound that like button right now. If you
Wow.
public restroom and
I ain't touching that soap,
and I
dog.
go to way
Sounds
back
terrible.
where the towel
It's
was
got
on
like
a
a-
was on a loop and you just keep doing
on
the
looping.
towel.
Wow.
And I don't know what happened inside that white contraption it went through, but you just keep wiping your hands, baby.
I love
So-
that.
I'm
bar
dead serious.
soap?
Yes, bar
Golly,
soap
dude.
sitting in its like residue with a little brown.
They might still do that at some
It's
places.
soap. Germs can't stick to soap.
I love it. Yeah, that's
Is that no? Wait a minute.
I mean, is it soap if germs can actually sit on soap?
That's valid. I mean,
a good
if,
point.
if,
That's
if
a
the
good
soap
point.
isn't actively killing the
That's
germs,
exactly right.
it's not good soap
What is
anyways.
it? What is it? Is it a new girl when he never washes his towel because he's like, when I get out of the shower, I'm clean. It's just
That's pretty good.
It's like I'm clean. Like I don't need to wash.
He
Love the
just blew
logic.
people's mind. Wait a
Yeah.
minute. Why is that gross if it's soap? There's
I
no
love it.
germs on it.
That's good. I'm a little. Can I say I'm a little nervous for this question?
Come on.
Oh,
This could get off the rails. Ready? What is your favorite / biggest conspiracy theory?
Oh, come on.
I don't know. I don't know if that just means like what's your
are you-
favorite one that
Are
you wish
trying
was
to get
true?
Are you trying to get this YouTube channel shut down?
Yeah, Sam,
well,
make sure we're still rolling
so-
for this one because this can be good stuff.
This is gonna be good.
I'll go ahead and say my answer to get it out of the way because I don't know many conspiracy theories. But every time we read a book to the boys called On the Moon, I say allegedly,
Allegedly, you just
these guys
opened
went
up
to the moon.
You just
Allegedly. They went there. Allegedly.
The shadows
They
don't
left
line
the
up,
flag.
bro. They're gonna
Allegedly.
What was it? I had some really
I
smart
don't know
people
if we did or if
because
we didn't.
I am not. I'm going full disclosure. I don't know. I don't really care. I don't know. Maybe so. But when serious people you're talking to, you're like, whoa, you have good questions. Like, why haven't we done it a lot?
Yeah, why aren't we up there?
Why aren't we up there?
Why are we up there?
Why aren't we getting video
You know what I'm
feeds of
saying?
people walking? Hey,
Yeah.
and here's the deal: if it's such a big,
Why
deal,
aren't we taking family trips?
exactly?
You know what I mean?
Where-
Why
and-
isn't this the number
and
one
if-
vacation destination?
And here's the
that
Maybe
was
because it's hard to
allegedly that was 53 years ago.
get. Maybe because it's kind of hard to get.
And if we know the, if
Well, you
we
think
know,
in 50 years we would make improvements?
and if you
I mean, good Lord, it happened.
Disney
When was
would
it?
have a park up there. But
You see what I'm saying?
But I mean, seriously, and think about this.
Think of the opportunity.
And think about if everybody is like trying to dethrone America as great, then why isn't China up there? Why isn't Russia up there
See what I'm
walking? Just saying.
But
That doesn't mean I don't think we walk.
there's a
Because I knew, I love it. I knew that line was coming at the end, but it doesn't mean I don't believe it. I knew that was.
I just love
you
it.
got to open ended. I don't know. Maybe it happened. Maybe it
Because
didn't.
it doesn't. Because here's the deal. The reason I do that is there is no eternal significance, but it is fun to think about that
It
we
is
might
fun.
be just falling for a big
Yeah.
trick.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. 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 I
mean,
think that's my that's my favorite. I haven't even looked into it. I don't even know. I do say allegedly though.
But we're gonna. Hey, but I want to take is youth camp on the moon, baby. Why is your youth
Oh,
camp
man, I
$1
need a
million
minute.
a person?
I need a minute.
Because we're on the moon.
We're going to
Because
the
we're
moon.
going to the moon.
Yes. Preacher Mike's going to be the preacher. Preacher, you're bringing the
Dude,
sermons.
yes, please.
Oh. I
So
would.
good.
Okay, I'm good. I'm back.
That was
I knew that thing was gonna. I knew you were gonna end it with, but we probably did. I don't know. Yeah, I knew it was gonna. Is that your favorite conspiracy?
No, I don't know. Keep going.
Oh, my
Mine's
favorite.
gonna pop in my brain.
My favorite for sure. I'm not saying I believe it. I just like I
Yeah,
I
but for sure.
wish the Loch Ness monster was real.
Oh, I know.
Like
Oh, yeah.
I haven't.
Bigfoot's out there.
Bigfoot's
I have. This is a fun fact about Justin Timley. I think dragons. Or I know the Loch Ness monster's not a dragon. I think dragons are sick. Like I wish dragons were still real.
I was about to say,
what I'm
do you
saying?
think they're real though?
Not anymore. I don't think there's a dragon out
Like
there.
a
but I
fire-breathing
wish,
dragon?
like every time Courtney hates it. Every time we drive into the mountains, and the first time we really get a view where you can like see the mountains kind of rolling in, so I'm like, wouldn't that be awesome if a dragon just came flying over the corner? Would that not be sick? You know what I'm saying?
so
And
good.
yeah, it would. I think
That'd be
that would
pretty
be. I think
I'm
dragons
for
would be
that.
awesome. So yeah, I
Speaking
have
of
to say.
dragons, shout out to my grandson Roran. He was named. His
I was gonna wait until you brought up the fact you're a grandpa now. I hear you, man. That's
Vassar
awesome.
named him Roran, but from his favorite dragon story series, Aragon.
Really?
Yeah, I love
Yes.
Aragon. Yeah, yeah.
Roran's
Roran
that's
was the
cool.
brother,
That's
was
awesome.
the cousin or whatever who had no special powers. But
Yeah,
he fought
they
for
need
the
to
city.
remake that movie because that
Oh,
movie was so bad.
terrible. It was so
They need to
bad.
remake that movie.
That's cool.
Yeah, I
He just came out with a new book.
Oh,
He
really?
just wrote the 5th book.
See, I read Aragon, then I read Eldest, the second one, and then it took forever for I think it was Brissinger, the third one to come out,
yeah.
and I
It's just
never
awesome.
read it. Yeah, but
Got you.
yeah, I would, like if there was one I wish it was true, like I
George,
just
that one.
Loch Ness monster.
Give us your favorite conspiracy theory.
Oh man, see, here's the thing. I kind of go political.
You got political
That's why I'm
ones?
like, yeah. So y'all are
I
doing
thought
fun.
one of us would. That's why I was.
Is it like
I'm-
recent political?
Yeah, I think we had some shenanigans in the last election.
Oh,
Just
gosh.
straight up.
Oh,
I think we
gosh.
did. I think we did.
I mean, I don't think
Straight up, I think we
Some
did.
funny business.
Because
Huh?
I got ice. I'm sorry.
Some funny business going on.
That's right.
I just.
And we just shut down.
Well, I'm just curious. I did let's do a little Teen Vogue here.
But hey, but here's the thing. I will say this:
Yeah.
Biden is the man Jesus picked.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
what it
dude,
looks like.
I read in John today.
He was Jesus' choice.
I
He
was-
said he might have been the one that Jesus picked, but he ain't the one that I picked, brother. Amen. I tell you, God bless America.
Shameless plug here. I was reading John. I was reading John this morning, and how sick is it when Pilate asked Jesus? I forgot the question he asked him, but Jesus is basically like, "Bro, you didn't have any power unless my Father gave it to you.
It's like
Like,
a
I ain't
G,
scared
bro,
of you, dog.
like a
Yeah.
G.
That is
And what's
that is
crazy
one
about
of the
that?
most savages.
Yeah,
think
oh,
about this.
dude, he's like, bro, you ain't got no power. You like God
Except
gave
for
you
that
the
which
power.
is given from him. Yeah,
Oh,
dude,
this
I
is
love it.
exciting. And think about this.
Get 'em.
We read that so quick, but in that moment,
Yeah.
that man he was talking to,
Had the utmost.
and he,
Yeah.
I mean, and it. But here's the thing,
Oh, I gotta
which
look it up. I
which
gotta look it
probably means it disarmed it
Yeah.
disarmed him so much
Yeah.
that he was like, "You're right."
Yeah. Humble moment.
Whoa! Because
Yeah.
literally, most people would have said, "Kill this man, cut him into a piece, blah blah." And he was like, "You just dropped a bomb and
Yeah.
said, bro, you ain't got nothing."
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my father. And what did he do?
Yeah.
He still said, man.
Yeah. Isn't that good?
So literally, Pilate was in
Yeah.
the presence of God.
He
and
was brought face to face with power itself.
And he was like,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Isn't that crazy?
Good. I wonder if there were people in the room. I probably not. But like,
To be a fly on the wall
to be like,
for that
Pilate,
conversation.
this is where you're supposed to throw a fit and get him cut up and make an example. And you're trying.
It's because he knows
okay,
something
this
about
is-
me. Oh, isn't that good?
Bro, this is so savage. So this is Jesus entered his headquarters again, or Pilate entered his headquarters again and said to Jesus, "Where are you from?" But Jesus gave him no answer. So Pilate said to him, "You will not speak to me? Do you not know that I have authority to release you and authority to crucify you?" And Jesus answered him, "You would have no authority over me at all unless it had been given to you from above. Therefore, he who delivered me over to you has the greater sin." What a savage. Like, bro, I ain't scared of you, bro.
Well, the presence of mind in that moment.
Gosh,
You know what I mean?
That's so good.
Isn't that good?
That's so good.
And
really
that's our
good.
king, y'all.
I
No.
love that.
Don't you want to serve him?
You just want
Don't you want to worship him? You know what I mean? Like,
Ah.
dude, that
what
guy's the
he's
one.
done?
That's
He
the
will
one
hold me
that
fast,
I wanna
baby.
follow.
That's
You
right.
know what I mean?
all the glory and the honor.
Yeah,
Man, I
bro.
love that.
My sins I forgive.
Okay, so Loch Ness Monster for sure.
Praise breaks. We gotta start doing praise breaks.
Jump on the table.
Do a little clap.
Okay,
You got your
here we go. Thoughts on Christian drinking?
What does that mean?
You mean drinking coffee?
Oh, excuse me. He
Delicious?
said thoughts on Christians.
I was about to say plural is gonna
Drink.
be if that makes one
Which
Christian
thing?
drinking. Like, what is that?
I drink water.
Christians drinking.
I
That's
drink-
more of a.
I drink soda. I'm
Actually, dude, I have a smoothie, a water, a coffee. What do you have?
I
You
got
a
water.
Sunkist,
Dude,
a
I'm
tea?
so glad you have these little Sunkist. I'm trying to cut back on soda, and that's like the perfect little like
It's for you,
3 or 4
baby.
sips. Boom.
It's for you.
And I'm sorry I stole one. I was gonna bring Raw Crunch in here.
If you don't know, I just.
Yeah, I was gonna bring Raw Crunch in here and give them a shout out, but they don't open until 8:00. So I was like,
Oh,
we're
Raw,
recording this
open up
early, by
earlier.
the way. We're recording this early, but I will say I don't love Starbucks for a lot, but like the
Cups, man.
Christmas cups that does make me happy.
Okay. Now watch this.
When I
watch
saw this, I was
I
like, bro,
like
it makes me
it.
happy.
You got to go. Okay,
Conspiracy theory?
go to South Park
Yes.
at Phillips Place.
Uh-huh.
There's a Ralph's Coffee,
Ooh.
which is it's Ralph Lauren's coffee. It's right outside I think it's the newer Ralph Lauren store. Now listen, only reason why I know about this is because of
Say,
Instagram.
why you go to South Park? Yeah,
but yeah, no, you go out there, it's magical. But they have their like little, whatever these little warmer, cooler things,
Yeah,
hand
sleeves,
protectors,
the
sleeves, dude. They are so fresh.
I love
They
it.
got like the little Ralph Lauren bears on them.
Yeah.
Oh, they're like, and it's
That's
adorable.
cool.
It's like you can make a Christmas ornament out of them.
That's so good.
So there's that for holidays.
I love it. Okay, that's good drinking. I mean, Ephesians 5 is so abundantly clear. Don't be drunk with wine, but be filled with the Spirit.
Yep.
Right. So there is I would say, bar none, a definitive
100%.
line in the sand, or
Yep.
don't be drunk with wine.
It's pretty simple.
I mean, so don't be drunk. Obviously, it's where up into that line that Christians have a lot of
And that's where the question
Great.
comes
disagreements, and that's where the lot is how much is too much, all that stuff. And let's just I think it's probably helpful to say, I mean, if you've been to First Baptist for a while,
Yeah,
you probably
yeah,
know
right.
this. But I mean, we're a church that we preach that we think it's in the
Yeah.
most wisdom for you to just not drink,
To not drink.
at all, to not drink, which is where I line up. I mean, I have like friends who I love dearly, who love Jesus. Like, I don't think it's a salvation issue at all, not
Right,
even
right.
remotely. I just unplug my headphones. But for me, it's one thing I've always just tried to keep in mind is like, bro, I don't know when too much is too much for me.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
I don't know for me. All joking aside, Courtney's gonna love it. I'm bringing this up. I love to take NyQuil. Like when I'm sick and I'm not feeling good.
Yeah, like a problem?
I love taking NyQuil. And you know what I'm saying? NyQuil, you know what I mean? Like when I'm sick, I'm like, I look for an excuse to take NyQuil, but it helps me sleep good. I love it. Maybe I shouldn't say this. Bro, I'm so scared.
Well, I'm just
but I say
fam,
that. I say that. to
do
say-
we have a problem?
No, we don't have a problem. But
We
I
have
say-
one that
but
could
I-
become a problem.
But I say that to say is like, man, I
But
mean,
you-
I
yeah.
don't know.
You don't trust yourself.
No, but I don't trust myself with a lot of things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With a lot of things.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I mean, and
That's
from my personal
What was it?
conviction,
I
for
listened to
wisdom.
John Piper one time do it, and he did this thing. He was talking about it.
NyQuil?
No. But drinking.
Was that really weird that
Somebody asked a
I do
question.
love
That was.
And he gave
That,
the
like,
reason.
your eyes lit up.
It did. It was legit.
Like, you're like,
I love NyQuil, bro. I
I
do.
love me some NyQuil. Put it in a sippy cup. Serve it up.
Justin just
But
taking
he
shots
said
of NyQuil.
he said the reason he understands why God doesn't release him to drink is he said I can't even chew a stick of gum by itself.
Yeah.
I want another stick. I
And
want
with the
another-
whole pack,
He's like,
yeah.
but the
Yeah,
Lord's
yeah,
like,
yeah. Right.
See what I'm saying? I
Yep.
want the whole.
Yeah,
pack.
well, that's what I say. I think I've said it before to folks. Like, so fruit of the spirit, self control. For some people, the best form of self control is total abstinence.
That's right.
Mhm.
and you need to know yourself. And that's the thing.
Right. That's
It
right.
is. So thoughts on Christians drinking. You have to start with a 100% drunkenness is a sin.
Complete.
Full stop.
Mhm.
The Bible does not give us any sort of leeway
Yeah.
in that.
Is it Ephesians 5? 17?
It's Ephesians 5. I was just been reading through Ephesians.
So then the definition would be, because a logical question for a person, because here's the thing, we have a person who's asking the question that wants an answer. We have a person who's asking the questions because they want something.
Yeah.
And so what you got is, then what is drunkenness?
Yeah. What is drunkenness? Well, yeah. No, that's great.
Does that make sense?
5:18. Ephesians 5:18.
Yeah, well, no, because I've heard it was Larry Underwood. Shout out to Larry Underwood,
Larry.
talking about 1 Peter, be alert and of sober mind,
Right,
sober mindedness. And he was talking about Christians want to just rail against drunkenness all the time, and he's one that's a teetotaler himself, and he's like, Christians want to rail against drunkenness all the time,
Yeah.
and shouldn't drink, blah 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 blah. And he's like, well, if you go to a football game, packed stadium, you're fired up. You are not sober-minded in that moment whatsoever.
You lose your mind over something like that.
You are not
You
sober-minded.
lose your mind in scrolling.
Yep.
Yeah, you
That's right.
lose. You're not sober-minded.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
If
And
your
so-
purpose is to lose your mind and zone
Right.
out, you are, that's it.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And so, no, I think for some people, abstinence is the only form of self-control.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's you, don't even try to have one drink.
Yeah. Don't,
Right.
Yeah.
But then there are people who do. I mean, I know people who solid Jesus loving folks who will drink,
Mhm.
and that's not
Right.
a problem for them. I know people who will have it at their weddings. That's not a problem for them, right? I think it becomes a problem, and it's any matter. I feel like I've talked about it on here before.
I think we have.
Any matter of conscience should be left as a matter of your own individual conscience.
Right.
It becomes a problem when you make your conscience Lord over
Somebody else's conscience, right.
So if you ever hear me say drinking is sin, I have now made my conscience. I'm trying to make it Lord over yours,
Right.
Because the scriptures do not say that.
But
it
we
is.
can definitively say
Drunkenness is a sin, right?
Completely.
And so-
Drunkenness is a sin.
It becomes a problem when you can give wisdom. You say, look, I don't think drinking is good. Let me give you this many reasons, because it can lead to drunkenness. Right? Like, it's probably like the one thing that it's just immediately it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very slippery slope.
Like it can immediately
Very
become
slippery.
that, right? So okay, so there's this. Then this. If you have any sort of addictive behavior, if you have any sort of family history, whatever. And people give these reasons, and I think they're all good.
Right.
But when you give reasons that are extra biblical, meaning outside of the Bible, you need to be careful by saying this. It's like Paul says this, but it's like, this is a wild thought. Somebody will probably put this on a question. Remember when Paul in Corinthians is like, I say this, not the Lord, but I say this.
Yeah.
And then it's in the Bible. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, then the Lord said it.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the heck is going on, right? And so but
That is wild.
in our context, you need to be careful about look, I think this, and this, and this. The Lord does not say this. You do have scriptures, wine gladdens the heart of man. What do you do with that?
Yeah.
Wine gladdens the heart of man. I heard a preacher, and I've said this before, I heard a preacher once say that anytime the Bible mentions alcohol, it condemns it.
Mhm.
It's not true.
No.
It's just flat out not true.
Yeah.
What do you do? And so you can you have to stick with what you can say definitively,
Right.
which is drunkenness is always a sin.
Right.
And then the gray areas, and you try to help people with wisdom to know, okay,
That's Psalm
what do you-
104,
what do you
verse
do?
15.
yeah, what do you do? How do you help somebody
How do you help somebody?
navigate through this?
And you have to, and I think you have to think about, are you trying to get a reason to drink?
Yeah, that too.
Because, and are you trying to get, somebody told you not to drink.
Yeah.
Or said it was
And
a
you just
sin.
want to do it.
And so this would be the downside of going too far with teaching about drinking being, it's a sin. All drinking is a sin.
Yeah.
Well, in a way, somebody can leverage that
Yeah.
with their rebellion to say, I'll show you.
Yeah.
And it's like, and if you're that person saying, I'm going to show you, problem's
It's
not
in a good
drinking.
place. Yeah.
Drinking is not the problem.
It's your
Problems,
attitude.
your attitude.
Yeah.
The attitude. And so it's an attitude check.
Yeah.
Because if your attitude is that, drinking,
Yeah.
smoking a joint, I
Yeah.
can do whatever I want as
Yeah.
long as I don't go too far, right?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's like, dude, stop. The problem's we're totally not talking about drinking anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not even the issue.
That's not even an
Right.
issue.
Right. The
Love you,
heart.
Sam. See you,
Sam, you're
buddy.
amazing. Love you, bro.
Bye.
Do your homework.
What is the significance of the 144,000 in Revelation
It's
7?
in the Bible.
So can I just read it? Can we just read it?
Yes.
man.
Thank
After
you.
this, I saw 4 angels standing at the 4 corners of the earth, holding back the 4 winds of the earth, that no wind might blow on earth or sea or any against the tree. Then I saw another angel ascending from the rising of the sun with the seal of the living God, and he called with a loud voice to the 4 angels who had been given the power to harm earth and sea, saying, "Do not harm the earth or the sea or the trees, until we have sealed the servants of our God on their foreheads. And I have heard the number of the sealed, 144,000 sealed, 144,000 sealed from every tribe of the sons of Israel." And then it lists the 12 tribes, and 12,000 from each tribe are sealed.
Is this oh, when the saints go marching in. Oh, when the saints go marching in.
I don't know if it's
Oh,
that.
how I want to be in that number.
If you're 144,001,
144,000.
you
little
tough
prayer
luck,
will-
bud.
A little
Tough,
prayer
That's what
will
Jehovah's
turn.
Witnesses
tough
sing.
luck.
Funny side note, that's what Jehovah's Witnesses believe.
It's true.
Is the
It's true.
144,000. My answer to that question, I don't know.
I don't know.
No thoughts
Justin
other than
Kinley,
that?
get that? No thoughts.
No thoughts other than that?
Yeah,
Not at all.
I think it was a thing.
You think it's an actual number?
I think it was a thing. I think it happened. I think that was an actual. I don't know if it's 104,000 or if it's meant something, but it happened.
Yeah, I
Because I believe, because my belief is I believe that happened before the fall of Jerusalem. I believe that was an actual.
Yeah.
I believe that happened there. But
Mm-hmm.
here's the thing: that doesn't mean I don't think it continually happens in
Yeah.
the future. Because I believe those kind of apocalyptic prophecies God
Mm-hmm.
uses for a moment, but He also says there's also a pattern you need to see.
Yeah.
You're still here. That pattern's going to come. But I believe Revelation, there was
Yeah.
an actual thing that happened in that apocalyptic event
Yeah.
that generation saw
Yeah.
that was happening. And then in that, there was a separation, there was a marking, just to kind of find out what's what.
Yeah, and that's where I think is cool, and people might freak out this like that's where I disagree. I don't think
Completely.
Revelation was written before the fall of
Right.
Jerusalem. I need to send you. I need to send
Can we
you.
do this?
Yeah, I need to send you. I read something the other day.
Hey, tell him.
And it
say,
was-
you're entitled to be wrong.
Yeah, it's like someone's got it wrong. You know what I'm saying? It was a great though. I'll send it to you.
Send it to me.
It was a
love
really. It was J.K. Beale. He was writing, and basically it was like the beginning of a commentary. on
Did you
Revelation.
guys go into that thing?
What thing?
Oh, never mind. I
Oh,
don't know
no.
if he's coming to that.
I don't know. But he was. But,
is he coming
but
here?
he wrote his argument for why it was written in around 80, 90.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
I thought it was
And
a
that was-
great argument. So the fall of Jerusalem was 80, 70. That's what
Right,
we're talking
ish.
about.
Let the people know.
No, I mean I
some
my
What's his name?
my
J.D. Bill?
Gosh, G.K. Beale.
G.K.
It's
Beale.
G.K. Beale, yeah.
David
I'm learning where
David,
not to put that thing.
David
down.
Campbell wrote it too. It's a shorter commentary on Revelation that's still
It's a
like
great
550 pages.
Yeah.
It's a
Hey.
shorter
I
commentary.
think I have the shorter
It's
one,
really
the G.K.
good.
Beale.
It's
It's really good.
It's really good.
It's good though, huh?
I
really
I
good,
like
dude.
it. Yeah, I mean, I'll put my take out there. I think this will happen. I'm on the
And
this.
see, I'm not saying it won't.
I know you're not.
I believe
know.
it will.
I know you're not. I'm on the.
Because I believe Revelation rolls like that.
I think it's happening even now. I think it will reach a culmination point one day, where
Yes,
I think
Thomas,
those who are saved by God
Wow.
will be saved by God.
Absolutely.
Like
Okay.
and there will not be one number missing. There will not be one number. God's not gonna. He's not gonna lose anybody when he comes to create. Jesus is not gonna lose any of his sheep.
Right.
He's not gonna lose any of his
Right.
church when he comes to establish
And
his
so
kingdom.
we go back to taking
Um,
the Bible literally.
Yeah.
What's the literature? What's
And-
the literary?
And that's where and Jay, I'm gonna quote him, and I'm about to paraphrase him, but he says in the introduction, he is a great thing where he talks about the different ways to read Revelation or whatever, different viewpoints, and he says, and I think this is 100% true. He said, with Revelation being the type of literature that it is, he said, Revelation, you should read it figuratively unless it
Until
tells
have
you to
excuse
read it
otherwise.
literally.
Yeah, that's
Right.
good.
It's good work.
Like Revelation, so like for the person who asked this question, I don't think there are 12,000 literal people from the tribe of Judah that are still.
I think there was a literal church of Ephesus. I think
There's a literal church of
yeah,
Ephesus.
yeah.
There's a
Okay, good
literal
point.
Laodicea. There's little things. I don't think there's an actual
Yeah.
12,000 number. I don't think that.
Yeah.
I think it's because I mean we know this.
2003. That was not it.
Yeah, and we know this. Like
God, wouldn't
12.
you hate to, like who said it? You hate to be 144,000.
Yes, yeah, like and we've
Golly.
said this. We've said this before.
The
Is like,
devastation.
man, 12 is a number of.
Yeah, there's something to that.
There's something to that number. There's
Some of
there's a completion aspect. There's a
You a big numbers guy?
I'm a big numbers guy when I think it's obvious in the text.
Yeah.
And I think there's
You gotta
12
read it.
tribes.
If you're like
there's
reading
12 disciples.
the 13th letter of the Hebrew alphabet is this.
No, I'm
That's
not.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's
that gets wild.
I think that's when, and maybe there is some, but I think
Sells books though.
It does sell books. And so, yeah,
Sounds like Gnosticism.
Yeah. So I don't think that is a literal rendition. There are actually 144,000. I don't think so. I think
And we
it's-
just lost some people.
yeah, I think it's a picture. I think it's a symbolic picture.
not.
It's
No.
figurative language to show that Jesus is not going to lose any of his people.
Come on.
Now there's a part that you just did there.
Come
I don't
on.
want to I don't want to blast because
Do
we're
it.
having conversations
Do it.
with some students because I think it's important that Christians who love Jesus have different opinions
Yeah.
about eschatology, meaning that how the end works. We're
Yep.
all
Yeah.
and we guys, please go just allow that space to exist and
Yeah.
enjoy listening to somebody make the point.
Because like how
Okay,
cool, like because I mean, not to just
awesome.
highlight what we did. Like I hope that didn't go past them. Is like
that's huge.
okay, like because what year do you think Revelation was written?
I think it was before the fall of Jerusalem.
Before fall,
Yeah.
which is going. I mean, let's just call it what it is.
Sure.
Like spade a spade. That is going to change the way some interpretation happens
Right,
throughout the book
exactly.
versus what. And are you okay with saying that,
You can say
that
whatever.
after Jerusalem is probably the more historical view? Are you okay with saying
so.
that?
I think so. I don't know.
I think
I'm not
I would say
really
more people hold to
Yes.
that. More people hold to
I-
80, 90
I
than
think
do
I,
before.
I believe, and I'm not.
Probably more
I'm
recently.
speaking outside. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I think more
speaking out.
recently
Yeah,
they do.
I'm speaking outside of all, but I think that's a more recent thing than we
Yeah.
realize
Mhm.
Yeah.
because I believe historically in the church, I
Mhm.
believe, obviously, I believe that the original church. If I'm holding to my thing, they kind of saw it and lived.
Yeah.
They were there.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
They were there, and so I think from that it was more of a it was before.
Yeah.
But will I be destroyed when I find out the actual time? If I ever find out,
Yeah.
I'm going to be fine.
That's what I mean. Like I was about to say.
Just
Like,
wanna be there.
so say it actually is 144,000 people, then
I'm
like sweet, the Lord worked that out, and that's
So,
awesome.
how
Like
cool.
cool. I don't think it is. Because that's where it just gets really weird in Revelation. If you think that's a literal 144,000 people, like I don't see anything in those verses we just read to cue you in on this. This is a literal.
What was
Right.
144,000? What are they?
Just
It's like-
12,000
But
from
what is
every
it?
tribe.
But like, what do people think that is?
What do they think that's? What do they think that's?
Like, what do they
pointing
think
to?
that is?
I mean, the person that asked the
They
question.
don't think it's like the total number of people saved, do they?
I think some people do.
That's crazy. So I would say that. I would say, well, then Billy Graham was not successful. Because I think in his tenure alone,
Yeah, no,
there
that's
would
what
be
I'm saying.
over 144,000 people who
Loser.
profess.
And there's
faith
probably different
in
takes on it.
Christ,
Yeah,
you
there's
know
probably
what I
different
mean?
takes on it. But that's where it gets really weird because, like,
That's
okay,
insane.
if you're like,
Was at a
that's
certain
literal,
time, yeah.
where do you draw the line then? Okay, with this woman who's standing with a dragon, hand up. I don't think it's a literal dragon. Hand
Come
up.
on.
I don't think it is. Like, but if you,
And he's the guy that wants dragons to be
dragons.
real.
I know.
Just embrace it.
Golly.
Conspiracy
That was my
theory,
moment.
conspiracy
That was my
And this is why I believe they
They're
might
real
be.
good.
Yeah. But instead, you're like, I don't believe it's real. Like, golly,
that's
Justin.
Justin, he just came through the crowd bank, baby, and you just missed it.
I know. Man. You're right. You're right. But I think that's where it gets weird because it's like, okay, like that's where we get weird in Revelation is when people start picking, I think this is literal.
Yeah.
I think this is figurative.
yeah.
But there's no textual clues
And that's a good point.
to lean one way or the other. It's
Because
just, you're
unless
just
you see
saying
it
what you
clearly,
think is clear.
if
Yeah.
you see it clearly, if you don't see it clearly, lay in the literature of Revelation.
Yes.
Lay in what it is.
Defer to that.
Yeah, defer to that if it doesn't say it clearly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I love, I don't know if Matt Chandler was quoting someone or if he was speaking himself, but I love what he talked about is like, it was basically answering the question of why is it so figurative and why is there dragons and wars and battles. And bro, like, you kill me.
No,
Is,
go.
but basically it's like, man, apocalyptic language like that riles you up in a certain way.
Yeah.
Like why couldn't, like Revelation 19, right? Great picture of Jesus riding in on a white horse.
Yeah.
Why couldn't it just say, like literally one verse could have said, hey, Jesus returns and he wipes out his enemies. What it could have said, right?
Yeah.
But John's like, yo, I saw
More
heaven
descriptive.
and there's a white horse
Yeah. dude.
and Jesus is on it. His robe is dipped in blood.
watch
Yeah,
out.
it is.
He's coming with a sword. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like
That's my
holy-
king.
Yeah, that's my
There he
king.
is.
You know what I'm saying?
There he is.
Like it fuels you, man.
Yeah.
It does something.
Yeah.
And that's where I'll go. Since I feel like everyone's talking about stuff like this right now,
Yeah.
and that's where I will. I think I told someone the other day. I can definitive. I feel comfortable saying this. I'm okay with hearing preaching from a lot of different takes of Revelation. I'm okay with that because, as we just said, like there's more probably disagreement on this book of the Bible than any other book. And one thing I'm not okay with, though, talking about line in the sand, I'm not okay with preaching of Revelation that leaves you anything other than bold and confident and courageous.
Oh, sure.
If it leaves you scared, if it leaves you freaked out, I think we mistaught the text. Yeah. But if even if
Did I
I'm
tell
like,
you how many times my parents would go to church like on a Wednesday night when I was living like hell, and like they would be at church on a Wednesday night. They would normally come home at like 8:30. Yeah, but it'd be like 10 o'clock. I'd be like, my God, the rapture happened. And I thought I had gotten left behind, bro. That's awesome. I was so scared, terrified. I mean, just completely just terrified.
And that's where I think like I can disagree with someone wholeheartedly, but about like how to interpret the 144,000 or Revelation 19 or whatever. But like, bro, if that sermon ends with this should not make you live in fear, but bro, we should be confident that is our King. And I'm like, dude, I can roll with you, bro. And if you right, then praise God. We're going to enjoy the new heaven and new earth together, and let's do it.
Yeah, you said something because it'll rile you up. I think people love Revelation because it'll puff you up as well. Ooh. And I think because Revelation is like the one book that we're trying to figure out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like Daniel, like we're trying to figure it out. And so the idea of figuring it out brings with it an element of I know something you don't know. Yeah. I know the truth, right? And I think that's why people are drawn to that because I don't know. To me, it's in the Bible, so it's important. Yeah. But my goodness, folks, there's so much more things that are plain.
That's true. And you think about this because in one of the teachings in Colossians, Paul's speaking about these people who have these special visions and they know all this special knowledge. Yeah, man, I think it gets real close when people say they know how it's going to work. Let me tell you, all this is happening up. This is lining up.
I'm with you.
I'm like, bro, stop.
I'm with
you.
Amen to all that. Next question. Good question. Yeah. When the Bible uses the word Elohim as a reference to spiritual beings or deities, what do you all think those are?
Okay, hold on.
Are we all looking this up right now?
Yes. Get some context because I think it is, yes.
They gave us two passages.
What are they?
They said Psalm 82.
Psalm 82. I don't know if I'm connected to the Wi-Fi, boys. Psalm 82.
The plural noun for gods, deities, various other words in biblical Hebrew.
And it's
So is he getting to the fact of the plurality of that word, the plurality of Elohim? Is that what he's asking?
I guess so.
Asking? What's the question exactly? What do we think?
When the Bible uses the word Elohim as a reference to spiritual beings or deities, what do you all think those are? The second one was 1 Kings 22, 19 through 23.
I'm gonna when the Bible uses, I'm gonna say my answer to their question is in the question that they ask. So ask it.
When the Bible uses the word Elohim as a reference to spiritual beings or deities, what do you think all those are?
Now, spiritual beings.
Okay, so this thing,
my answer to the question is in the question.
And so I want to throw a little side break here. This is a good point. Remember, we're just getting these questions for the first time.
Yeah.
This should not spark you as the conclusion of getting your answer.
This is not a final.
No, go look.
It's a spark.
Let us spark this thing out. You go look, and then you come back and tell us. So please don't see us as, well, whatever they say must be it.
Yeah.
We're giving you what we know. We're kind of helping you understand. So just keep looking. Let this spark you to investigate because Elohim's huge.
Yeah, I mean, Elohim, correct me if I'm wrong. Elohim really just means God, right? It's just a very...
As one of God's name. I'm looking through... Yeah. There's a lot to that. That's why they asked that question.
Yeah,
That's
there's a lot to it. Because, I mean, you see God as Elohim in Genesis and early in Exodus, and then, it's the big reveal, because it really is that, in Exodus 3, when, Moses at the burning bush, he says, who should I say sent me? And God reveals his name, Yahweh, right? And it says later on in Exodus 6 that God revealed his name to Moses, and he had not previously made it known to Abraham and Isaac and Jacob.
Okay.
Which is why we always looked at Exodus 3 as that big pivotal moment where God identifies himself as Yahweh. Yeah, I mean, the word Elohim. The word Elohim is a grammatically plural noun for gods or deities or various other words in the biblical Hebrew. I'm with Brad. I think I'm not trying to oversimplify. I think it's spiritual beings. I mean, like he sent 1 Kings 22:19. It says, and Micaiah said, "Therefore, hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord sitting on his throne, and all the host of heaven standing beside him on his right hand and on his left." I'm assuming that's where Elohim is in that passage. I think about Isaiah, when Isaiah sees the seraphim. I mean, these are magnificent, jaw-dropping beings, right? That literally, I mean, think about John in Revelation. Is it Revelation 9? There's a couple times in Revelation where John sees an angel and he tries to worship him. And the angel says, "No, you don't worship me. You worship the Lamb. You worship Jesus." And so to me, it's just how culturally they use that word, where to put myself in Isaiah's shoes, or put myself in, who do we believe historically wrote 1 Kings? Probably David. Okay.
That's a good question.
No, it'd be David, because David died. I need to look that up. But like when they have these visions, like, I mean, he says in 1 Kings 19 or 22:19, he says, and Micaiah said, "Therefore, hear the word of the Lord. I saw the Lord." He has this vision of God. I mean, it makes sense to where, like, you see these magnificent angels. John's trying to worship them. Isaiah.
So is that the actual word in the text? The original language was Elohim.
I looked up Bible Hub.
Because I mean, when I read, you don't see Elohim in the text.
Yeah, that's why I looked up Bible Hub, and it doesn't have an Elohim there.
In the translation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what does what does the Bible translators translate Elohim as?
God.
God. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, early. That's what. Yeah. So, but I think there's also a note, and this is what I was googling it or whatever. It's a plural name of gods or deities too, and so the way I've always when I preached Exodus 3. I hope this makes sense. If I saw you in the store and I said, "Hey man," and I shook your hand, I might not know anything about you, but I know you're a man, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, that's true about you. So is God Elohim? Yes, but when God reveals His name as Yahweh, that's
me telling you my name.
That's who I am. There's something about me in that.
Yeah, that goes from a category to a specific.
Exactly, and I feel like Elohim is a category.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah. So I think you're right. I think it's spiritual beings. I think it is.
But here's the thing. What's cool is, though, that category comes from the specific.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
that's good.
That's cool. You want to fly through a couple of these? We're almost done.
Good questions, y'all.
Yeah,
these are good.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
These are good.
Without y'all, we would have nothing to talk about.
That's truly true. Fortnite or Minecraft?
Oh man.
I've played Fortnite.
Okay. Was it good?
So you going with Fortnite?
I mean, I can't speak for that which I have not participated.
I feel like I'm a crappy youth pastor, and I've not played either.
Yeah,
but Fortnite, it's been
a
while, but I mean, I've done it.
Yeah, I don't play video games because I get hooked on them. So,
from what I know about them, I'm gonna say Minecraft. I like the idea of like building a world. I think that's cool.
Yeah. When I listen to students who do Minecraft, I will. Okay, hang on. I'm about to say something.
Say it.
And maybe this. I love students who really love Minecraft.
Mm. Okay. I know this student loves games, man. He's a gamer.
So hang with me.
He's a gamer.
I'm hoping this doesn't. I'm hedging this up. I'm hoping this doesn't sound like an insult, but it probably will. The student that talks about Fortnite, like, there's a different conversation level going on.
It's annoying. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. But the Minecraft, there's something when they're talking about Minecraft and they've built the world.
You can understand it.
Fortnite's playing the world already built. You're making the world. There's something different in that person and the time spent. It's like, in my mind, Fortnite, you're battle, get to the level.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden everything crashed and you lost out of it, you'd be mad. Yeah. I get that. But a Minecraft person who has spent so much time building a world and it crashed, oh man.
Devastating.
So to over spiritualize this, let's do it. But I think it's actually fascinating because it's spiritual warfare. Spiritual stuff's all around us way more than we realize.
Yeah.
There are dudes that get lost in Minecraft.
Exactly. Absolutely.
And girls too. They get lost in building stuff. And
dude,
let's just think about this. I got to get a train of thought.
No, get it.
God is creator.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We are made in His image.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which means we should be creating families, jobs, all that stuff. So, isn't it? I said this about sex on Wednesday night. isn't it just like the enemy to take something that God gave
Pervert it
us
a little
and
bit.
pervert it?
Yes.
And how many people, and I'm not saying Minecraft's bad, that's what I'm saying,
That's not what I'm
but
saying.
how many people are getting lost
Yes.
and spending hours
Yes.
and hours and hours and
Yes.
hours building something that's not real
No.
Mm-hmm.
when we have an opportunity to build things
Yes.
that are really real. That's intense, bro.
And so I would say this because that's the
intense.
other thing about Fortnite. It's like if you get lost in that world, the problem is we tend to think we're actually doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so
You're
if
created to do, to
so,
create, to build.
so here's the thing. So like you can do battle in Fortnite, but you can't kill your sin.
Yeah.
You can do battle in Fortnite,
Okay.
but you can't clean your
Okay.
room.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can
You
build
can create
mine.
an alternate reality, but you can't clean the dishes.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
You see
Shout
what
out
I'm
to the
saying?
parents. You're welcome.
I mean, but seriously, and students, think about that. And here's the thing: play Fortnite well, play
Yeah.
Minecraft well, and
Do it
be
to the
a
glory
Bro,
of
use
God.
it as an opportunity. You play online with people who need to know Jesus.
Exactly.
Like, play, do it. Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
clean your room, go to
Yeah.
bed. Here's the thing: schedule your day. Realize you're a builder, man.
Yeah.
And, but if you never come out of your room, you ain't building nothing.
Yeah.
That's true.
So
That's true.
That's good. So I'm gonna say Fortnite. I'm just kidding.
I would say I'm more of a battle kind of a guy. I like the battle stuff. I like the
Okay, I think.
victory.
All right, we could spend a lot of time. We have three more.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
we do.
I
I don't have any more, do I? Hang on. Did I tell you all?
you said you were going to do three, and you've done three.
Have I?
Um, I think we've already.
Oh,
kind
there was
of,
one more. There's one more.
No,
There is one more.
is it a big one?
It's yeah,
We're taking
kind
on
of.
Joe Rogan 3
How to,
hours.
how, to, how to comfort a non-believing friend going through grief.
Oh, that is a big one.
So if they're because I think the last episode we did comforting a friend going through grief. I think somebody asked that question. This one is specifically how do you comfort a non-believing friend going through grief, and it might be in light of the previous question that was asked and answered.
I'll just be straight up. To me, that's got to be one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah.
Because your starting point for how to find comfort is just leagues away. I mean, that's one of the hardest things where it's like if someone is not a Christian and they have a loved one who dies,
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I mean, if you're not going to believe the good news of the gospel, I really don't know what to tell you without lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't bring you false hope, false comfort.
That's hard. I mean, that's really hard.
Yeah.
That is really, really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really hard. Because what are you going to spew some nonsense of like, oh, they're in a better place?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's.
Oh, so this is like when the
Well, it
person
could be.
who died,
So it could be, but it's.
But it could be anything. I got.
Well, and logically, like a lot of times, like so, if a non-believer friend of yours,
Lost someone.
mom's died,
well, now you need to comfort that non-believer.
I wouldn't say most of the time, but a lot of the time, like the parents are probably non-believers.
That's right.
And so,
And
like, how
so-
do you
Right.
how do you comfort a non-believer who doesn't have the same hope, who doesn't have the same foundation that you have?
That's
it's
so
scary.
hard, man. That's really hard.
Yeah, so many avenues to this because I've heard these conversations. It's like
Yeah.
so my,
Oh, they're very practical.
yeah.
I don't fully know. I mean, I think you know,
acknowledge
just
the fact that-
sensitive.
yeah.
Just
You
be
acknowledge.
sensitive.
I think you acknowledge the fact that life is precious. That's why there's a loss when it's gone.
Mhm.
And just experiencing that with them. But then it goes to that point: is as a friend. Here's the deal: as a friend, that person who doesn't believe in Christ has you as a friend. They know you're a Christian.
Should know.
If they don't
Right.
know,
That's a good word.
so if they're coming to you for comfort,
Yeah.
or because you're a Christian, you're going to them with comfort. It's an opportunity for you to give them true comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, whether a person knows Christ or not,
Yeah.
they need real comfort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said this one time in your question, but just being there,
Yeah.
knowing there,
Yeah.
in that space,
Yeah.
and I think comforting with words.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best time to be kind and compassionate with true words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you sense that those true words are hitting, then back up, man. It's
Yeah.
okay. And say, man, I didn't mean to. I just really am comforted by these words. And it should not surprise your friend.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it's. I mean, to me, the only thing you really can do is be there. I don't think you rush in. But this is my window to share the gospel. Boom. Although
Yeah,
it might be.
it might, yeah.
But man, to me, the thing I just thought about is like if you're talking to someone, if you're trying to comfort them, they're probably in a state of like, yo, life's chaotic right now
Yeah,
for
that's
whatever reason.
That's right.
And what an invitation to follow Jesus, who Colossians 1:15 through 20, he's sustaining all things, and he's holding all things together. And because chaos, chaotic situations in life does not stop. Like believers and non-believers will go through that.
That's right.
You're both going to go through it. So yeah, I would say just man, lovingly use it as an opportunity to invite them to Christ. Yeah, that's intense. That's hard. That's really, really hard. Pray, man. Pray.
Yeah,
Goodness,
pray. And there's a scripture that I would tell you to probably just look to and see if you can glean some wisdom. Is it whenever Jesus healed Lazarus?
Jesus wept.
He wept. So yeah, like there's something to gather, weep with them, right? Well, because he goes. What chapter is that? It's
John 11.
John 11. Thank you. So the sisters are grieving, and because it goes like to the very end where Jesus like poses the question. He's like, "Do you believe this?" to Martha, right? Yeah. And so just the way in which he did it though wasn't like this straightforward. Like it was methodically. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that's John 11.
John 11. Mm-hmm.
So read that.
Yeah,
I think that could help.
Yeah,
and pray and be sensitive, be present. All the things.
Yeah. We could spend a lot of time on it. Let's try not to. I know because I think we'll probably have disagreements. What place do Old Testament laws have for today?
My answer. Sure. The moral law is the only one that has standing still. Is the Ten Commandments, ceremonial, judicial, all of that.
Accomplished.
Yeah. Fulfilled and abolished.
Yeah.
The moral is still fulfilled, but it's being fulfilled in us as well. So yeah, that's what does it do? The three uses. The three uses. Somebody help me. It's a mirror. It exposes your sin.
Mm-hmm.
What else? There's two more, and I'm hoping y'all give me something. No,
I don't know where you're going with it. I'm
Is
sure.
the
As soon as you
law
say
is
it,
a mirror. The law is a mirror.
The law is a mirror. So
are you quoting a passage?
No. So
it's three views.
It's in.
I don't know.
I'm sure as soon as you say the other two, I'm gonna be like,
So it's the threefold use
it's
of the
stuff
law.
It's a schoolmaster. That's what Paul says in Romans 7.
Exactly.
It's a schoolmaster. It teaches you.
It teaches you, right?
Look into the perfect law.
Yep.
That's the mirror.
And so the first purpose of the law is to be a mirror. So where you read, you shall have no other gods before me. When you read that, you should be mindful of the gods that you place before you, before him, right? You see, thou shalt not commit adultery, and you're like, oh my God, like I've lusted.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It exposes you. It acts as a mirror. It reveals sin in your life. And then the second is it restrains evil, right? So the moral law. That's where I think it's country. It's worldwide where like murder is against the law. Period. And what that does is that restrains evil. It keeps people like I believe in total depravity, but with the use of the moral law, it keeps people from being as evil as they could be. It's kind of like a muzzle, right, on a dog, where like that dog has the potential to go unbelievably hard and just unleash and rip you to shreds, right? Yes. But with that muzzle on, he can only do so much, right? And so like it restrains the evil that could be present in the world. And then the third one is to just guide you. To reveal what God desires of the child of God, where
guardrails type.
Yeah, it serves as a guide and such. So,
I'm good with that.
I feel like that was a great answer.
That's a great answer,
baby. Yes.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm really good with that.
I'm good with that. That's a good answer. I like it.
I can bow out now. Just leave.
Was James the disciple the same James who wrote the book of James? And was Jesus' brother?
Shoot, I thought he was.
I did too.
I don't think he was.
You don't think
I'm about to say that gum. Did we miss this?
No, I think James. James was not converted till after. Jesus.
Yeah.
Rose from the dead.
Yeah.
But then James wrote the book of James.
Yeah, same guy.
Yeah, same guy.
I thought so.
There's a James the disciple though. There's a James that
James
followed,
like the son of Alphaeus?
There's a James that followed Jesus with the 12.
I don't think that's the guy.
There's a James that followed Jesus, a part of the 12. That's one dude. Then there's the James who was Jesus' brother, who converted after Jesus rose from the dead, and he wrote the book of James.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So two different James.
Yeah.
So we understand the same thing.
Yeah. Sorry if I read that wrong.
Mark 15:40, James the Less.
Yeah.
is James the son of Alphaeus, who is one of the original 12.
Yeah.
James of the Less.
And I
That's
think
what they call him, James the Less.
and I think
Minor
there's
prophet.
How humbling.
He's
I
a
think there's a
minor.
passage in John
He's
or
a minor.
Acts that talks about how Jesus' brother converted
after.
Right. Of
after
course
the
it did.
resurrection.
Okay, yeah.
Which is so sick.
Which
that
is
See, that's one of those
That's so
questions
sick.
that, like,
What was
I was
it?
initially like, yeah, I
What?
thought they were the same.
I have
And then
no
you, like,
look
think
at-
about it and you're like, no.
I don't
no,
know.
yeah,
Whoa,
no, I
Hey,
don't think that at
the
all.
major theologians, but no, but what was it? Because that's crazy. Because apologetically Christians, it's really awesome that Jesus' brother.
Yeah, it wasn't
Yeah, how
wasn't
cool
a
is that,
believer,
man?
dude.
Yeah.
Like when's the
the resurrection kind of matters.
How likely are
Yeah,
you to
it
fall
makes
down
a
and worship
difference,
your
dude.
brother?
Yeah.
It makes a difference,
Kind
right?
of matters.
Yeah.
Kind of matters.
It's a real thing. It's real, y'all. It's
He's
real.
like, maybe James was like, maybe Jesus was right.
Yeah,
All
I think
these
I'm thinking,
years, like maybe he was.
It's a better way.
Might have been onto
I
something.
make a whole lot more money when I
And
preach
then
about
he's
Jesus.
like that freaking
What?
twit.
That's
He would rise from the dead. Now mom's super proud.
right.
You know
It
what I
was
mean?
my fault.
Yeah.
When I was, Jesus,
Yeah.
we
I
know it's
love
not
that.
Jesus.
I love that.
Dadgummit.
Okay, so James the disciple.
Who's to blame? He'll
James,
take it,
Jesus'
but it's not
brother,
his.
Wrote the book of James. Two different.
Yeah, they
notes.
are. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Two more. Favorite pizza.
Anything with pineapple.
So gross.
Dude,
Can't.
the margarita or the Raphael at Enisio's.
Who
I'll
did
give
you
you
say
specific
Marcos
list.
last
We
time? Didn't you
talked
request
about-
something?
No, I love Donato's.
Donato's.
Shout out
Yeah,
to Trey Cook.
Donato's.
If
Yeah,
Trey
he
Cook
did.
is listening, 2 hours and 28.
Come on, Trey. Come on,
Trey
Trey.
Cook. Shout out to Donato's. I went and had it. It's good.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say like favorite, just like to be a little more specific. I love the mellow mushroom, the mighty meaty pizza.
I like a mellow mushroom.
It's
bro.
like, bro, it's so much meat is on that thing. Like, I mean, if I eat 2 slices, I'm full.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a place in Rocky Mountain, North Carolina. Is it Rocky Mountain? No, not Rocky Mountain. Black Mountain, North Carolina. It's called Fresh. And it's
I
the
love Black
Madonna-
Mountain.
yeah, it's
I love Black
the pizza place is called Fresh, and it's really good.
Really?
And they do a Madonna pizza with white sauce,
There you go.
Okay.
and I put extra chicken, and then I throw some pineapple on it, and it's delicious.
Okay.
Cooked in one of those whatever ovens.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
they call
dude,
pizza.
little
or
wood
what.
fire, brick
Oh,
oven,
yes.
whatever it is.
And
Yeah.
he's literally throwing that wood in the back.
love it.
So good.
All right, ready for the last question?
Yeah,
Ready?
dude.
It's not a serious one. Well, I mean, it's a very serious one. Very
Come on.
Very.
should the Panthers fire someone?
Not yet.
Oh, I'm on the fire train.
See, I'm not on the fire train.
And you know what I hate? This is the last question. So if no Panthers
Because
fans-
I don't know. Maybe I should be on the fire train.
So here's why I'm on the fire train. Okay, I was trying to think about this because I knew that someone asked this question. I don't know if I've ever, as a fan, been on the fire train before. I hate that.
So-
I really
But
don't.
see-
I don't like calling for.
but hang
these
on,
jobs.
hang on. Let me do this. Let me run a theory by you.
Run through about me.
Because you weren't on the fire train for so much, it's built up, and now you're unleashing it on maybe a
No, so
Oh, on a
time
poor guy.
On a
here,
poor
here
guy.
Poor
I
Frank.
think
scapegoat.
no, I don't think Frank needs to go yet.
No,
You don't think
Yeah.
Frank needs to go?
I think
think
Fit
Frank
needs to go.
Who's fit?
Scott Fitter, our GM.
Oh, okay.
There's a clip going around. There's
I
several
think
clips.
Tepper needs to go, but
And
that can't happen.
Well, I'm getting to
That
that.
can't
happen.
I'm getting to that. When you say
Cough
that.
up some
So let me
billions,
just say,
man.
Scott
Make your own
Fitter.
town.
I don't know Scott Fitter. He's definitely not watching this. That'd be crazy.
That'd be awesome.
I think he seems like a good dude. Seems like a legit dude.
Cool.
There's a clip, and there's several of these, but there was one I saw literally yesterday that's going back around, where he said, there's 2 clips in mine. One, he said about this offense that they had built a team that was ready to plug in a quarterback and immediately be successful.
He said that?
That word left his mouth back in April.
You're ridiculous.
And then there's another clip going around, different interview, where he just said, he's like, we don't plan on picking in the top 10 for a while. Like basically he
We're gonna
thought
be winning.
he had built this roster, and you plug in a quarterback, whether that's Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, whoever,
Okay.
you plug in your quarterback and you're good. And to me, where I'm like, I'm good with fire and fit, is I'm like, dude, if you thought this roster was good enough,
Okay.
clearly it's not. And the job of the GM is to build the roster.
All right.
You didn't do your job.
All right. Audience, listen closely.
You didn't
This
do
is
your
when you
job.
get the evidence. When you get the evidence presented before you, and you know it's clear, it's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
I
got to
agree.
get rid
Now
of
let's-
that.
Because that right there is like,
I'm like,
seriously,
yeah,
man, if you
like, I'll
came
show
in
you
and
the
you really
clip.
We'll
admit
give
that,
Reich another year or two.
Yeah.
I
You gotta get rid of
here's
him.
what I sound right. If they finish
I wonder if Reich's going. This is
if
not the
if
offensive
they
win.
finish 2-15,
Yeah, because we don't know that.
That's right.
He
if
might
they,
be
if
saying
they
that.
finish 2-15,
Probably will.
I think they'll fire him.
I think they
they'll
will
fire.
because here's the thing.
Again?
Because here's the
I
thing
think
though.
they'll
Here's and I heard a guy say so
You just-
that.
you can't
And this is the
do
thing. It's
that.
like okay, it would be a
Frank's going to be okay, man.
it would come.
Jesus, though.
It
He'll
would
fine.
be. He's a good dude. He seems like a great
he's,
dude.
He's going to be
He'll be
fine
in heaven
'cause
with us.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Maybe he'll have a
Frank-
winning football team.
he might be one of the 144.
Maybe.
But
He might be.
seriously, but the thing is,
Um,
because this is the thing I think about him. He's like, I love football. I think he's a good man. And if they fire him again, he'll be like, oh, well, I love Jesus. I'm good, man.
Yeah, he's
I'll
good.
be
Yeah.
okay.
Find something to do.
My life is going to be
But
fine.
because this is what I think.
I'm not going to the basement to play Minecraft. I'll be fine.
I think if
Create an
if we
alternate
if we had seen some progress,
Yeah.
let's be real. The last 2 weeks
Zip.
have looked bad,
Terrible.
and I'm like, if that all-star coaching staff doesn't have progress by the end of the year,
Yeah.
then I could see where it's like, dude, it ain't because if you're rebuilding, you got to be going in the direction where you're building something. And if this coach staff hasn't taken you in that direction, then just go ahead and get a new guy and start doing it again. You know
And here's
what
the
I'm
thing.
saying?
I think Bryce Young is a great quarterback. I think he's a good quarterback. He's just in a terrible system. But I will say this: watching him in the course of this, he has sustained an attitude that I like.
Yeah.
I like his, and he knows he's losing. He knows. I think
gotta be
realistically, he is working hard, and so now his discipline is: I'm an athlete, and I'm a man, and I'm a leader. So doggone it, you show up, you do the job, you encourage the guys even through it. That's the thing, and I hope that sustains because I'm hoping this ends up like this.
Yeah.
He'll be fine, but I don't think any quarterback can play in this offense.
No, man. It's,
Zero
Yeah,
quarterback.
because that's what someone was saying the other day. That like, there's evidence that he's not handling the pressure well. But I'm like, but man, like when it's
But you get that
on
much
100,
pressure.
when you're getting pressured on 70% of your snap, 80, whatever it
Seriously.
is, it's like, dude, the times when the pressure is good, you got to be thinking about your head. Yo, my left tackle might be getting beaten like a drum right now. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, I still stand on the same block of like, to me, I've seen enough flashes of Bryce to know like, all right, right offense, he could be legit.
Yep.
This is bad, dude. It's bad. It's so frustrating as a Panther
It
fan.
is.
You know what? You know what really was sad? This was a bad moment for me yesterday. You know what's really sad, and it hit me, is the Browns have been like the laughing stock of the NFL for like however long, whatever.
Yep.
Dude, since 2018, when Cam got that hit against the Steelers and we lost it, we were 6-2 going in that game. Since that game, we have like a 28% win percentage.
Panthers are going to be the last.
It's second to last in the league
The
for
hit
the last
heard round
for
the
the
world.
last 5 years, and I'm like, yo, this is the thought that hit me. That almost made me
This is how you
sad.
kill
It's
a
like,
fan base.
are we the new Browns? Like, it's true. Like, are we
Wow.
like at what point?
Wow.
I know that's what
Am
I'm
I
saying.
the stinky
like,
kid?
are we?
Wow.
Are we actually
Wow.
the
Am I the
terrible
stinky
team?
You've
kid?
become the kid. You weren't the
Gosh.
kid, but
I
you
didn't
become
realize
the kid.
it. I'm the stinky kid in class.
You know what's gonna be awesome though? It's
Tell
gonna be
me.
glorious.
What's
I'm gonna prophesy for a second.
Come on.
Oh, come on,
I'm gonna
baby.
give you a prophetic word.
Yes, you
Uh,
are.
You know, in the Rangers when they won, and that video went viral of that old guy who had lived his whole life and never seen a Rangers World Series. Gosh, you better have the video camera on me, boys, when
Woo!
we have a Super Bowl.
Woo!
Oh, what a day!
Well,
What a
thank you.
glorious day!
Because I will say
We suffered through so much.
Well, I believe you, man. I'm a Panther. I was telling a little, I was telling a little guy the other day. We were walking.
I take this so
we walked
serious.
by. He was asking
Yeah,
me about
you
football.
do. I love
said,
it. I love
said I'm a
that.
Panthers fan, but I'm not real happy with him right now. He goes, "Yeah, I know what you mean, man. We were really having a legit conversation." And then we got into Bryce Young, CJ Stroud conversation. But I told him, I said literally, man, I think CJ Stroud's a better quarterback, but they're both great quarterbacks. CJ would get tore up in this offense.
Yeah.
He goes, I
Yeah,
think you're
likely.
right.
That's what I told my
I think you're
father-in-law.
right.
Shout out to Dale. I told my father-in-law he's an Ohio State guy,
Shout out
and
to
I
Dale.
told him where I stand on the CJ Stroud Bryce thing is I'm like, if your take before the draft was we should take CJ over Bryce,
That was mine.
I'm cool if you're still there.
Yeah.
If your take was we should take Bryce over Stroud and you have flipped because of 10
Only
games,
because of watching the
then
performance.
Yeah.
dude, it's
Okay,
because
you
you know
can't
what's
do
crazy? Think about this, and this because this is where we just makes. See, everyone's loving CJ Stroud for the game-winning drive yesterday. Dude, he threw a horrendous pick the possession before that got the Bengals back in the game. If they don't win that game, then there's
he's
no.
the goat. He's the dog.
He's
You
like,
go from
dude,
goat to dog in
and
one throw.
and honestly, the throw was like just as bad. It was an out route
Yeah.
that was just as bad as the
Yeah.
interception Bryce has thrown. And kudos to him. Like he got the ball back, went down the field, kicked game, and
Because
kudos to him.
I go back,
Um,
but I go back
it-
to my original comment, and this is all we know because I'm seeing, and I might be wrong. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe Bryce is coming out and he's starting to get a little frustrated and he's starting to show some.
I
stuff.
think his last
See-
presser, he just looked tired.
See,
Of
and
course
that's
he's tired.
but see,
I
Got
get
tired
for
of
me,
answering. Tired.
See, for me, I'm gonna want to see him do a little more of that, where
What?
he's like,
See a little fire.
Little-
I want to see him be like, "Yo, we suck, and we got to do something."
Yeah, but see,
Was
that's
that the sixth time? Was he really? How many were me?
Like over half, like four. I think.
no! I'm so sorry,
well,
Jan.
and you know what? And you
I'm
know what?
so sorry.
And you know what though? Back to the thing, but you might be right because I kind of like the
Because
consistent.
I want to see.
but I need a little fire.
I want to see a little
fire.
fire because it's like, dude, if
But see, here's where I'm going to go. I don't know, and this, and correct me, you CJ Stroud. I don't know. I get the sense that he would have melted down and been. Maybe
I
he
don't
could have
know
taken-
enough about him.
I don't know about it.
I don't
because there's that athlete that when you start losing, you start showing some stupid.
Yeah.
And Bryce is not showing stupid.
Well, I think the crazy thing, I mean, this to me, this always going to be one of the hardest things.
And blame
And
him.
ask Bryce about this. You think about Bryce's life. I mean, could he count on two hands how many games he lost?
I mean, this is a new
his
world
entire
for him.
life until this year.
But think about it.
Which is crazy. I mean, I don't think they lost more than 10 games when he was in Alabama.
No.
Maybe.
No, I don't think they lost
He is
anywhere near
only
that.
a
Yeah,
winner. He was only leading a winning
so
team.
and so CJ Stroud hasn't had to deal with that yet because he was the same track as Bryce, right?
Yep.
Killer through high school,
Yep.
kills it at Ohio State, loses a very small amount of games, and yeah, it's different when you
It's
start
gonna be
losing.
devastating. It's gonna be one of those. It's the wait and see, and you got to look back. And what is the it was something I don't know the words, but like time vindicates. You know, it'll either vindicate him or not.
But I'm with you. I'm hoping to be sitting there going, "We won."
It's gonna happen. Yeah.
Gotta
Hey,
fire some people.
thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks for
We
watching.
appreciate you.
Keep asking questions. We got to December. We need to have some like Christmas questions next time
Ooh, yes.
because we're
December.
recording one more of the year, December,
That's
right?
right, December.
Yeah, the final episode.
The final
We should
episode of
do something
2023.
special.
Isn't that crazy? That
We have to do like our
12
ugly
episodes
Christmas
now?
sweaters or
We
something.
need-
Hey, I
We've
like
done
that.
12 episodes? No, we haven't. Have we?
No.
No,
It's
we
been
did
close.
March.
So
We
we'll
started
do
in March or
ugly
April.
Christmas sweaters then. We're going to do ugly Christmas
Let me
sweaters
see.
in December.
Yeah, and put some string lights up.
I can do that.
You got to
Um,
remind me of that because I'll forget.
Well, I got to go get one. I don't have one.
I have a Dwight.
I've thought about it
I have a
this year.
Dwight
I
Schrute
want
one.
to
No,
get
no,
an
no.
ugly
You probably
Christmas
have
sweater
one.
this year.
You just don't realize it's tagged.
That's true. Yeah, that'll preach. That is a good word, dude. If you don't
I
have an
love it.
ugly Christmas sweater, just ask your spouse to look through your closet.
Yeah,
They'll point out
hand you one.
I don't have any crazy friends.
I love
You're
it.
the crazy friend.
Yeah, dude.
I love it. Well, keep submitting questions. Keep
All
listening.
right.
I love
That's
it.
right. Love
I
you guys.
Sweet.
See ya.
Steve's got a pause.
I got to get up and go turn the.
Yeah.
I was trying to see how many
Awkward
episodes
moment
we've done,
of
bro.
walking around.
I was trying to see how many we've done.
I think
it's more than 12.
I think no, it can't
It's not
be.
maybe not more than 12. We're in double digits.
Because we started this year in March because it was the retreat.